Pasha Paroh. Normally, I have a nice scripted out section by section, detail oriented, Virgo efficiency, outline of notes that I want to share with you in a certain fashion to produce a desired outcome of stimuli. However, today, we're just going to do the raw material. See, for those who can't say you know me, because I can honestly say nobody knows me, because they can't stick around long enough to know me. And what I mean by that is, because they aren't themselves, being around me is greatly uncomfortable for them. It causes them a tremendous amount of pain. It causes them a tremendous amount of time in the mirror hating what they see, because I didn't know initially that they were a facade, that they weren't real. So when I see someone, I can't even say meet someone anymore, because are you actually meeting them? Are you meeting someone? Or are you meeting the character of the video game that they created? And when and how do you know, and when do you find out? Because see, I'm going to talk about something today. I'm going to show some things, because fuck it and fuck you, the people that's in there involved. Not just today, but historically. But I'm not saying in a negative way. I'm saying in a grateful way. Like, I am so grateful of roach repellent. I'm so grateful of being able to spray the truth, and people you didn't even know was fake will catch fire and start burning in the crowd around you and have to flee your vicinity. And the way I describe it is like this. Let me see here. The way I describe it is like this, man. Cause see, what they don't know, this people think they hurting you. Now, granted, maybe someone in your network I might have done a project for, but because you talking shit about me, that project not gonna happen. But that helps me, because if they allow me to not do a project with them, or if they shadow ban me and avoid the truth to remain sucking your dick when they're never gonna get the ring, those aren't the people I want to deal with anyway. So it's doing me a great justice, because they don't have the right mindset. They're not capable of the right thought process. So let's weed them out now, early. See, most people want to hop on these social medias, click friend request to 10 million times, get the maximum number of followers, and say, look at me. And then they wonder why they got 5,000 followers, but when they post something, they still only got 2 likes. See, when you see Pasha with 2 likes, it's because he only got 100 people. And some of those are still on the fence. So maybe he got 67 real ones. And then other 67 people, maybe 10 actually follow him. But boy, are they a powerful 10. You got 5,000 of the weakest of the weak. And you're proud. Because you get yeses. Now, the long story short, what happened is I had a conversation today, actually over the last 48 hours, let's say, better part of, let's say 36 hours. I don't really sleep like that. And when you make a when you have a conversation apparently with a certain name, right? It's not, you can't even say a certain type of person or a certain this or that, but a certain name, right? Of a level that has built a following of, I call them mindless zombies. See, this is the thing. I don't have to say nothing behind your backs. There's nobody that can say Pasha talked about them behind their back. So yes, it is disrespect because the word respect means relate. So I cannot relate to the fake shit. I can't relate to it. The reason people don't like me is because I said it to their face, as technical as that was. If we on LinkedIn, I posted the comment and I put their name in it. I posted the post and I put their name in it. I didn't have to go behind your back and say shit. So we'll get to it in a moment. So I made a post because something happened and I realized something happened, but I didn't speak on it right away. I observed over another like almost week. And I was like, no, fuck. Because see, the thing about me, I'd have been at the top, closely related to the top of many different industries. Because I always had the mindset of, I'm not starting from the bottom. I'm starting from 3/4 of the way up, and I'm gonna work my way up from there. And then the perfectionist in me gets bored after you reach the perfection, and then I'd be like, or you identify some bullshit, and you can't go any further because clicks and gatekeepers and all that shit. But those who don't know, never reach these levels, or still struggling to reach the first one level like that, they don't understand what I'm talking about. They can't relate. It's disrespect to them how I act because they don't know any better. They are like child in mind. They are like minorities. That's what minority means, childlike minds. So they act like kids around me because that's what they are. They just don't know it. And I don't have patience for pacification because the world doesn't pacify. So I made this post because something happened, and I'm not the type that doesn't speak on shit and tell directly to the person. Like I said, I don't go talk behind your back. People like that shit. They prefer that because it's easier to deal with, I guess. I'm not that dude. Like, we're gonna talk about it, and then you're gonna say whatever you're gonna say, or you're not gonna say nothing. Because you, whatever reason, you scared, you didn't know I was supposed to, whatever. I don't know. But I'm gonna bring it up. And I'm gonna see how I feel about your mindset. I don't want no apologies. I don't give apologies, and I don't want apologies because apologies can be weaponized. But I do want to know what your thought process was. So I brought up this post. And ironically, you'll see for this one, the person responded. And that's cool. We had our engagement. We'll look at that. Because I've won 3 of my own court cases myself. Like no attorney, because I'm majority. I'm not minority. But you don't know what the terms mean. So you get emotional. You get about in your feelings about what you believe someone's saying to you because you don't know what they talking about. So you don't know what you talking about. And I'm not saying this is why that's 7. So some of y'all gonna get this, but there's still a percentage of them that's spying here, watching here. That's cool. So the real know who they are. I don't have to differentiate. But they came and they had the conversation. That was great. Because it proved everything to the people who know, who's ever been through a court procedure themselves, whoever knows how to truly argue, because a lot of people talk, a lot of people run their mouth, a lot of people sling feelings back and forth, a lot of people have emotional content, but very few people know what an argument is and or how to leverage one, how to win an argument. Because either you're going to win or you should shut up. Because a lot of you knew you wouldn't win the argument, but you're trying to do things like have emotional factors play to your favor and skew people's mindsets with bullshit. You know, you try to manipulate. It's called gaslighting. So very few people in 2024 going into 2025 actually know how to win an argument. What they do know how to do is be emotional. So if we're going to ensure our growth, what we need to do with these United States citizens is separate the emotional bullshit, the emotional baggage, because it's doing wonders for them and slowing down the process of our rising. So now what I'll give credit. I always give credit where credit's due. I can say, we'll talk about here. We'll show there was a period of time of avoidance in some of the preliminary stuff that got to this moment because fuck it. The point that really is the issue behind this talk today is after we talk, you know how these people that are popular have their little followings, right? Their little mindless zombie crew. At least 50 people call themselves running down on me in the comments because they don't know the street. Not to say I stay in the streets, but they gonna try to run down on me in the comments. But see, I was Ike Turner and all these motherfuckers with the truth. You know what I mean? They running up like, you can't, you shouldn't, because you don't know shit. Shut the fuck up. Like, you wasn't there. You don't know nothing. You didn't read all of the stuff above that's already been said. So you making comments blindly out of your emotional anus, and you want me to sit here and be patient with your pussy ass? because you try and get some shine, you try and get some attention on something that ain't got nothing to do with you. See, this is actually my life. That's the difference. Oh, who's gonna come? Oh, who makes a post and gets Chris Doe to respond and then post a video to, yeah. You know why? Because it's my life. See, I didn't wake up one day and say, hey, I hope Chris Doe tries to cheat me out of exposure because he's going to take information of mine and go speak about it. And then, I hope all this happens. Like, nobody wakes up and says, I hope this happens to me so I can post a fucking video in the comments, you dumbasses. But since we're here going through the bullshit, see, I have a whole YNet7 knowledge channel. So what happens is you guys ask, not you personally, but many people ask these dumb questions that they really don't want the answer for. So what I've done in life is I've seen the flaw in this moment or in this situation or in this type of mindset or in this person. And I say, you know what? It's more people out there with these issues. Let me break down in a video the whole thing. The problem, the solution, all the way through the process, everything you should think about, and I'll make a video about it. So what I have the luxury of doing now at this stage of the game is saying, like your doctor, like, oh, you are suffering from what I call here. I wrote a whole thesis paper about that. Let me send you the link. Because now I don't have to sit here and spend 2 hours telling you something that you only want to hear after 5 minutes. You either gonna watch the video because you want to know or not. And or if it's a post or a comment on social media that other people can see it, that may be interested, they can watch it. See, I'm not out here dumping $500 a day of fiat currency so that I can say I got 10,000 likes a month or 100,000 views on my videos. So yeah, when you go to my knowledge channel, it's real people watching it. Because if I'm scrolling next week and see a comment, I might be engaged and I can take that link and send it to them. Maybe 2 or 3 people watch it out of their circle because those are the 2 or 3 people who needed it at that time. I'm not forcing it down 10 million people's face in a 15-second or skip ad so that they can say, I can say I got a view. I know the game. That's the problem. You're talking to someone who know the game and you're not used to it. I know the game. I just don't want to play it because I don't like games. Because what is games? Games is fake shit. We got real shit we could be doing. Do you want to do that with me or not? But see, what got me irritated was it wasn't the fact. I applaud. Like I said, I'll tell you in a moment when we run through it. I ain't gonna take long. But despite he took so long to say anything, which is part of what made him guilty. If this was at court, if we were having a mock trial, that would have been part of why he would have been guilty. But he showed up, Chris Doe did, in response to what I said. Okay, look, this is what's going on. But see, I took like 7 to 10 days and was studying and watching because I first noticed this about a little over a week ago. I said, let me make sure. I don't want to be emotional. Let me do my homework. Okay. So people don't know what I know. Right? So he came and he made his statement, and I turned that shit because he didn't know I win court cases. I'm not gonna argue with you. I'm gonna show you how it's done. Then, like I said, 50 of his following come along and want to run down on me in the comments and got their ass whooped, right? So, I mean, in the comments, of course, right? Because it's America. Like, We try and get tanks and fighter jets. The last thing we talking about is let's fight in America because this is bullshit. Okay? Ain't nobody got time for bullshit. There's real enemies that we really need to get ready to protect against, and you up here being a little bitch in the comments about some shit, not Chris, but his following, that ain't got nothing to do with them. And then you get mad because you came at me, and you get mad at me because how I responded to you. That's the most, that's the shit right there that blew my mind, bro. And it's disappointing because if this is how your following acts, they're only mimicking the leadership. And see, this is the problem. I get to these industry heights. I don't care if it's music, entertainment, like other entertainment. I don't care if it's manufacturing, whatever. And you find out, matter of fact, manufacturing was like the best one because they be really about the. You got to be real in manufacturing, or else it don't work. Like you can't fake optimizing a product or an assembly of a product. Like, you can't fake it. You know what I'm saying? I guess that's why I appreciate that the most out of all the things I've done in my life. But look, let's get back to it. So that's the issue. You got 50 people come get smacked down with their bullshit ass comments, right? And then they get mad and they want to block me. I don't know what happened. I'm gonna show you. It was like, cause here, matter of fact, here. This is what, cause I don't understand, but I learn from shit because I don't pretend to know how people work. So when something new happens, I study it. And that's why I interact with these people, these type of people. Because when I don't avoid them totally because that's how I get put up on what's the new shit these snakes are doing. See, because I'm not a snake. I'm not a snitch. So I don't know what the current trends and new high-tech features and attributes of doing snake shit and snitching is. So I gotta actually watch the real ones in action. Which is why you see I don't get rid of all of the snakes. My motto is if you leave one or two snakes around you, but you already know they're snakes, they're going to help you identify the other snakes as they come into your network because like attracts like. So when you see them start clicking up, you know snake attracts snake. Okay, there they go. See, because I'm not scared. I'm from Wilmington, Delaware. Now, I'm not trying to say I'm some super gangster, but let me tell you, I done seen it all. All right? The question is, what does it look like today? It's not that I ain't seen it before, it's that it might look different. And if you ain't saying that to yourself, like people when they go move into here, like, oh no, it's nice out here. Oh my God, it's that, right? Nah, everything happens everywhere, motherfucker. Like, what? How's it happen here? So I can know, and then we can be good. Like I know everything happened. You're not fooling me. All right. So the new technology appears to be the interesting part about this. As you can see, I wish it was bigger. Actually, let me do this. Actually, I should be able to do. Yeah, let's do it like this. If we look up here, because I was starting to type the shit and I was like, you know what, fuck it. Let me just do a video. I ain't really pressed to do nothing else right now. Let me take some time and talk to my peoples, the public. See, there was 69 comments here. And what was interesting is I got a notification, this one in particular. um from 38 minutes before I checked it at the time. She's like, I know. It's like, this is why I can't talk to people. I don't have any, because I'll be 38 minutes before. Like, no, because that's the truth. That's what it was, because it puts everything in perspective when you tell the truth about what you're talking about. So I'm a critical thinker. So it had this got me thinking. This is critical thinking here. Because this is chess. See what happens, they all lost the different chess games. Chris lost the chess game. All 50 of his zombies that showed up lost their chess game with me. And then they went to the next level of chess game. They huddled up. They said, huddle the fuck up, y'all. Look, man. Bruce Leroy over here whipping our ass. Whose fucking idea was it to come run down on him with this bullshit? Never let them make another idea, strategy, plan for us again. We are all getting embarrassed because what happened was it was all good. They were all here until I dropped these posts because I was like, you know what? Fuck it. This is what I be doing. I just be telling the truth. Because I said, look at these sign holders in the comments. The truth is, this is what hurt their hearts. I said the truth, like as much as what I told them at the time, and I'm gonna get to these people here because I applaud these people. These people right here, plus the 15, maybe minus 1 or 2. But the reason I say that is because these are the real motherfuckers. Because they came, they saw the situation, and they engaged with the little reaction icons, and they sat back and watched for however long they watched, but they didn't jump in the comments because one, they probably read everything, which gave them time to think, and then they watched the rest of the activity because they're waiting to make a decision based off of the information and evidence. Because when I was looking at while it was going on, most of the people that were in here, if not all of them, you won't see at any point they were not in the comments. So I applaud them for doing the right thing because you get knowledge by observation, right? This is how you know. This is why I'm saying know who around you, look and see who's who by what they do. So I'm gonna pull them up later and let you see who they were, because like I said, for the most of them, I appreciate that shit. They did the right thing as far as I'm concerned. But so it was a bunch of activity. Like this was going on since shit. It's 1 a.m. right now. Not last night, but the night before, like the evening before. Like Chris responded. And then once we had our little, it was really only like 4 things said. He said something, I responded. He said something, I responded. And then he was like, the smoking gun. Cause see, he know, I know. But after that, that's when all, like, you know how it go, the 55 people, whatever, they come running in the comments with their little and I was, shut up. But I'm not doing it malicious. They come at me crazy. I gave them the truth. Most of them left after that because they don't like getting, the truth hurts. They don't like it. But here's what happened. So all these people was in the comments. So I was like, look at the sign holders in the comments. The truth is, and I know for some of y'all, this happens to y'all in life too. What's up, Hassan? Y97. Appreciate you. Nah, man, look. It's not crazy. It's always the perfect day. Like, one thing you'll never see me do is, this is not a complaint. Like, this is a failure mode effect analysis. And if you see me in these situations real time, normally you'll see me at the end say, thank you for the exercise. Because see, the reason why I was able to, in this case, smack down 50 mindless zombies from the dojo is because of all of the exercises I've had in standing on truth prior to. So every time we go through something like this, public, don't be offended by it. Don't be stressed out about it. Appreciate the exercise because it's preparing you for what's to come in the future. You're learning a new approach, a new technique from these snakes and these gaslighters and these narcissists and these manipulators and these fake people and these shapeshifters and these whatever, right? And you get the exercise of standing on truth and delivering 10 toes down. And see, that's what they don't have. They don't have the stamina to be truthful. So they come in with their bullshit that they done prepared. And then as soon as you hit them with the truth, wham, they're like, fuck. I don't really like that. I don't want no more of that. What was I supposed to do? Script 2? Cause see, now he fucked that all up because we planned for him to be fake. Like we fake. We had 2-3 questions prepared based on what we thought he would say, but we didn't realize because we fake. We were thinking about doing fake shit while he doing real shit. So, then they scrambling. And then by the time they get hit, they get hit the second time, they gone. So it's preparing you for these battles with the fake shit. Otherwise, you would be weak and unsure and unconfident, and then they could convert you. You become a zombie too. So what occurred was, at that point, okay, there go the window. So at that point, now mind you, there's supposed to be here 69 comments, 1 repost, right? But if you scroll down, you can see, at least on my side, all but 6 of them, all but these 6 are gone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then back to mine. And there's a couple like responses under these. So there's probably about 50 plus comments missing. Now, what that means is, see, like I said, I don't deal with emotions. This is just truth. This is observation. So apparently there was an order given. See, this changes the dynamics of the shit. Apparently there was an order given. And I'm cool with that. I'm Pasha. We give orders. I give orders to America. We put in our order to the United States. See, I don't lead mindless zombies. I lead critical thinkers. So what this means is there was an order given, because you don't randomly have the whole dojo of people just randomly all of a sudden say, you know what? I'm blocking or I guess it's not removed because it still stays 69. So I guess I'm just blocked and can't see him. I don't know. You go find out post in the comments for me. Let me know what you see, right? But like I said, I'm learning this. This is a new moment because not that I haven't been blocked before or a comment removed or taken down. I got an example of that too from earlier. Like, this is all stuff I dealt with today. Like you think y'all life is whatever y'all can try being truthful for a month. No, try having knowledge and wisdom to be truthful about for a month when you're surrounded by a bunch of fake people. Because the same time this was going on, I'll show you the other shit. Because it was like your Wonderlic score is, you know that was, you're out here broadcasting, you got a 34 Wonderlic score, and you know that was used for my mother was a neuroplasticity whatever, and with a capital N. I couldn't just put the lowercase n because then it wouldn't look like she was an authority figure. I got to capitalize it because of my own psychological projection issues, so that it appears to be some grandiose thing and a grand authority because of my own brain damage. But Wonderlic score was used to treat accident patients, to test their mind afterwards. Like my mother used it for that. You shouldn't be bragging about having it, you dumb motherfucker. Like, just because you got a limited perception of what the applications of a particular product are, you want to try to come on here and gaslight somebody else to feel less about themselves because of your ignorance. That's what the United States does. Because they don't know shit but what somebody tell them, and their feelings are always in the way. They want you to feel less of yourself too. And the reason why it's so important is not even personal. The reason why it's so important is because that's the underlying destruction of our innovation in this nation. See, that's what's holding innovation back. Because you can't likely make something new or sit down to create something new and tell the people around you that you're going to work on this new thing, because they're going to gaslight the fuck out of you because they want you to join the zombie system where it's safe and to be accepted. So because then that eliminates and kills the risk. You don't take any risk. You don't do anything worthwhile to doing. It's been 70 years and you're wondering why wages and compensation have flatlined since 79. It's because they taught you not to take risks, so you don't even want to move up from where the nation was on the pay scale for employees even since 79, which is what, 21 plus 24, so 45 years ago. And you got 45 years of inflation, which is really deflation of the currency, all because they got you scared to take risks. And they got everybody around you just waiting to pounce on you like little ninja turtles. Anytime you say you want to do something different, because they want to try and mentally abuse you back in line. So if that's the cancer, I'm all for eradicating the cancer. Yes, if there is a disease, it's best that we kill the disease. It's best that when you have the pimple that you make sure you pop it and you get it all out, and you even go back and make sure you get the sac out so it don't come back. Because if you don't, it'll surely return. This is not my opinion. This is not medical advice. This is known truth. See, I like to deal with truths. So we have a disease of ignorance on this land, and it's affecting everybody whether they know it or not. And until we get rid of it, 87% random number of your issues and problems are only going to get worse. because you got people who don't know what they don't know trying to tell you what they think they know that they don't know they don't know. And that's going to be your boss. That's going to be your governor. That's going to be the person who's feeding your kids information and judging them on how well they perform. You got some great people in those positions. But at the same time, you got retards trying to make sure that they conform to being retarded. And you're wondering why your kids are failing. It's because they're not because there's something wrong with them, but because everything is right about them. But let's get back to this. Because see, I went through this. The reason, part of what compelled me to fight this way is because those that's been following the story, they know I've been to the mental hospital observation twice. Total of 14 days of my life. Both times for shit where there wasn't nothing wrong with me, but the person who was able to talk to the magistrate or want to manipulate the situation was able to get it started where I wound up there quickly, for them to find out, oh, there's nothing wrong with you. You just know shit that the average person don't know. And you should be the first time they told me, maybe you should be careful who you talk to about it, was a trigger for me. Because what it meant was the current state at the time of whether you believe it's the United States or you know it's America, the current state and condition of the country or the world or the people around you is that ignorance is so popular that being truthful, being real, can land you in the mental hospital. And the mistake I made the first time was I went in there like, y'all can't keep me in here. When I get out, I'm gonna sue y'all. That type of shit. And they just sitting there with the clipboard like, oh yeah, well guess who ain't never gonna get out here? Keep talking like that. I tried to escape because I generally, when you don't belong somewhere, you do everything you can to try and get out. So I did that for the first 5 days. It took 5 days the first time I did 10 days. So it took the first 5 for me to realize on the end of the 4th day, when I was like, y'all gonna let me, what do you mean what we gonna do tomorrow? I'm supposed to get out of here today. You keep saying tomorrow every day. And I realized when you're resisting the meds, when you telling them you're gonna sue them when you get out, and they checking them boxes on the clipboard, you're being authenticated. So when you want to talk about being authentic, like, trust me, I know what the word authentic means firsthand versus what genuine means. So when I make the video, I don't actually need the etymology dictionary, but I use that to show y'all what the actual words mean, so you'll know, because they authenticating you as something so that they can justify why they're gonna keep you or not. See, that's authenticity. Because I was genuinely true to the point where the average person in society, 98% of the population can't relate to me. It's a disrespect, because the word respect means relate. So because 98% of the population can't relate to the truth, Pasha had to do 14 days in the mental hospital when he's been through tons of things in his life to avoid incarceration as a person that looks like me, living the life I lived in my early 20s to early 30s. It's no secret that the only reason I'm not a felon is because I've been in 4 police chases, high speed. So when you see me, when I had the series of Mercedes back to back, it wasn't because, oh, it's a Mercedes. It's because Mercedes was winning F1 race competitions. So the technology filters down into the automobiles on the market. So I like to go 100 plus miles an hour because the speed limit don't apply to me. I'm a traveler, not a driver. For entertainment purposes, National Highway Traffic Safety Acts don't apply to me. And it started for me when we were young kids. I'm gonna say kids, but when we were younger, we used to race everywhere we went anyway. I don't know about y'all. So what that did is that honed our skills. So when we needed it for something like a getaway, we were skilled operators at that moment. So you grow up and you mature, you move out of things that you used to do in life. You get closer to your purpose, your life purpose, but that was part of your preparation for your purpose because you had the Most High put you in those positions so that you could learn from that perspective and help people that you wouldn't otherwise met unless you were in that modality at the moment. Because there's people that, you know, the feeling of being able to take $100 t-shirt off your back and give it to the young dude because they said they liked it. You know, being able to do shit like that changes a person's life forever. Like they'll always remember that. And I didn't get that part of it until I was older in life. How much little things like that meant to people when you look back on it. I just knew they said they like it. I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and go buy what I'm gonna wear at the mall anyway, like I do every day. Or giving information to people back then before I even got to this level of delivery and focus. So the difference is, unless you were in that mix, you would have never reached those people to leave those imprints, those impressions, to make that impact, for you to get the experience, for you to see what it was like, for you to watch people deteriorate around you because of the drugs that they took and because of their addiction. You couldn't do nothing about it. So to come to another level in your journey and now see the parallels between the drug addict's addiction to crack and these business owners chasing fake ass fiat currency. And realize you got to do something. Because I was prepared to leave. Like these people talking about, oh, I got 90 acres. We're going to put our little family on here. But, you know, I was on that level. We've seen the videos. We talked about this many times. Tiller, Oregon went up for sale, 3.6 million, 3.9 with the school. Not that I had the checkbook at the time to support it, but that made me say, damn, I can buy and start my own city and we can go be over here doing our own thing. And I got to the point where I was researching what it would cost to acquire tanks, missiles, and jet fighters to defend it. Everybody got guns. Everybody got Desert Eagles. Everybody got the AK Dracos. Everybody got the you name it, the 4.5, the 4.4, the 10 mil. Everybody got that. So what that means is that we need something we can drop from the sky. We need some tanks. We need some shoulder launch, and we need some silo launch. And that was at that moment where I was like, damn, if I'm really going through all this to the point where I'm looking at acquiring tanks, it means that it's only because no matter where we position ourselves on this continent, it's going to be only a matter of time before the ignorance of the United States and democracy winds up knocking at Republic's door again, saying, hey, we want you to be like us. And if you don't, we're going to try and say there's something wrong with you until you do. Unless we eradicate the cancer. Unless we nuke the disease. And that's why I returned mentally. Because if I stayed focused on that, I would have got it. I would have been there. I'd have been going. I'd have been in my little off-grid situation with solar panels and making my own water from the evaporation, condensation of nature, duplication, all kinds of stuff. I'd have been gone. Anyway, look. So we got to eradicate the cancer of ignorance. And what we should be able to do is it would be great if every ignorant person was removed from society, because then they couldn't perpetuate it. It wouldn't be taught to their young. It wouldn't be condoned and accepted. It wouldn't become groups of them. There wouldn't be shadow banning. There wouldn't be cancel culture. There wouldn't be a lot of the confusion that we have in society today, and the list could go on. So let's take a look at this, because this is what we started on. This is what it was all about. So there were 69 comments. 50 plus of them are missing from my perspective now. They might have blocked me, but what this means is, or they removed them, I don't know. But I guess I'm not sure if they removed them, would it still show 69? I don't know. See, I'm okay with saying I don't know what I don't know, because then I can focus on what I do know, unlike the people in the comments who just vomited information and feelings and opinions on shit they didn't know about, and they didn't take the time to research anything. So they all look like fools if you can still see them. So what this means is that there was an order given, which changes the dynamics of this situation. See, we come from Facebook, we come from these places, we're used to the average troll that gets their feelings hurt and blocks you and go on a little rampage rant, whatever. But this is organized, like, you know how you say organized crime in the streets? This is organized shadow banning activity. This is organized attack culture. And the word attack means attach, right? So this is an organized plot. See, this changes the dynamics. This is no longer, hey, Christo commented, and because he commented, we all can't show it up. No, this is organization. And the reason it's organized is because, like everybody else, I'm a threat to them. When you got a 34 Wonderlic score, it's very few people below a rocket scientist that's not going to feel threatened by me if I get to look at your industry for a little while and observe and duplicate and then speak on it. Because that's why I become the best so easily, right? Because what you struggled with is natural for me. See, I'm naturally gifted. I was the prisoner of life that was happened to be put in the man's gifted program for a reason. While you were becoming Mr. Popular in regular school, becoming a United States citizen. Okay? I was stuck in the prison of intellectual. And I say it like that because if I wasn't trapped in that 2%, then we could better relate to the population. Maybe I would be more accepted then, but I'm not worried about being accepted. I'm worried about being true. So there was an order given that at some point 50 plus comments were removed, and or the people that posted them all blocked me in uniform fashion. Now, so that's like a, I'm used to that when you think about gangs, right? When you think about gangs, like when you think about little cliques at school, like we could look at it like this: gang and up to mafia. That's the crime syndicates. Like they organize. So, they might even be connected to the politicians, that type of stuff, right? So you've seen that in the movies. I'm not telling you nothing you don't know. You remember high school with the little cliques. You know the workplace with the little cliques. So you got little cliques and you got big cliques. You got disorganized cliques and you got organized cliques. And it's no different with these corny ass business owners. See, a lot of y'all, speaking to my public now, Y97, a lot of y'all feel like you're not good enough because you're comparing yourself to someone who appears to be successful. See, me in the music industry already had this conversation. You can't take away their attitude. And I'm not talking about, when I say attitude, the actual word attitude means position. So you can't take away their position. Like you can't take away that maybe they're at a point. I mean, you can, but what I'm saying is just from a, observation. I don't want to let me put it like this. I don't want to discount. Actually, I do, because let's say you got to give them credit that on the books, maybe they're achieving $5 million a year. And you're looking at yourself like, man, don't do that. Everybody talk to me know I got this phrase called chin up. Every time you tell me some bullshit that's you looking down on yourself, I tell your ass chin up, and I tell you why that shit's irrelevant. See, you just getting started with your business. You've been doing it for seriously approaching it, which means you still got to ramp up from the time you start. Unless you're like a box truck driver or some retail person just selling product, like not just, getting product and then selling. Like you didn't make nothing. Like everybody that know me know I like to talk. I like to really build with producers. And I'm not just talking about music. I mean, if you making something yourself, most of y'all are going to be Y97 quality minds. Most of y'all. we might find out there's a couple people like the lotion man that don't fit. All right. But producers make stuff. All right. So the order was given for everybody to disband. But let's get to what triggered that. All right. So I put this down, like these posts here. Like it was a period of quiet, maybe for like an hour. And I was like, you know what? This is exactly what I be talking about here in this video, this, that, and the other. Are you a sign holder? Which is because what they did is they came and tried to say, how you gonna try to say Chris took content from you or sharing your ideas? And then when their mindset said prove it. But see, the dummies are gonna want you to go, well, look, this is a pen. See, he said pen. But see, the moment you hold up what dummies that don't never win a court case or know how to maintain an argument properly, they'll do shit like that. But what they don't know is that they're providing a variable. And as soon as you can, what they're waiting for you to do, all right, let me give you a little game. Whenever they put you in that position, what they're waiting for you to do, whenever you're asked to provide an example, when in your mind you have hundreds of examples or maybe potentially infinite, you don't even know, right? Is they're waiting for you to showcase one example so that their little, oh shit, this motherfucker had a whole team. That's why it took them so long to respond. Matter of fact, it makes sense now because that's why the order was given and they all disbanded at the same time, because he had a fucking little huddle. Like they were sitting there in a think tank with the coaches and the advisory board, because I mean it was so funny because I mean the people that was coming in my comments were like publicists and copywriters and a whole list of branding people, you know what I mean? It was no real business owners. So now I'm looking at it, they got the go sign because they were probably part of the think tank, some of them. But anyway, so when they're waiting for you to give the example so that in their minds, once they destroy, discount, or discredit the example, they feel like they have now proved that you were wrong. Because see, all that is what I've already done the video on called equations versus variables. People who are focused on the variables might see this if it was an XY intercept, 1 and 1. And then this is where it intercepts, right? So all they know is when you get 1 here and 1 here, you get 1. But you know that equation can be graphed and it can look like a whole bunch of different stuff, right? So when you get the equation, you're focused on the equation, you see the equation, you see the line going through the graph. You may not know all the infinite points, but you see where it's at approximately. They only know 1 and 1 is this. So what happens is the day that they show up and get 3 this way and 5 this way, and it goes like this here, that's the people. You ever been in a situation where you talk to someone about something, you feel like you come to understanding, and you're like, yeah, okay, we understand each other, cool. And then to you, you feel like 2 weeks, 2 months down the road, you having the same conversation, and you're telling that person, this is the same thing we talked about last time, but they're saying, no, it's not. Last time we talked about this, and this time it's 3 and 5. That's different. So what they're doing there is they're either weaponizing the fact that it's different variables and they know that it's the same, or they genuinely, like you can't admit, they genuinely haven't put it together yet because they're focused on the variables that they're part of the same equation. This is why people who don't know the truth, which is the equation, don't know that they don't know what they don't know. Because all they know is 1 and 1, and now they're discovering 3 and 5, and you're telling them it's the same thing, but to them it's something different because they don't know the truth, which is why you don't hear me call them liars. You just hear me saying focus on the truth, because they genuinely may not know any better, which is what makes them a minority, because the minority is childlike mind. So there was an order given, because when they came to my page, they came deep, and apparently it looks like they were behind the scenes plotting on how to discredit me, because the truth of the matter is Chris know what Chris did. I know what Chris did. So when it got here, these posts were here, comments were here, and I was like, look at them. Look at the sign holders in the comments. Because I did this video, are you a sign holder or a brand builder? There's a distinct difference. Check it out. Truth is, none of these comments are from actual brand owners. The comments are those who are products of an education as a product system, who received a manufacturer certificate of origin stamping where they bought their thoughts from. So they bought their thoughts. They either paid for them cash to get a manufacturer certificate of origin, or they paid for it by pretending to be something to gain acceptance to a group, club, clique, whatever, you name it, so that they can get information they felt was valuable, so that they can regurgitate it and feel important. Like Steve Hamoan being able to put up 10x and do a video on disingenuous codependency to realize that Pasha taught him that he's disingenuously codependent in 86% of his life. That's why he doesn't talk to me anymore. Because once you open them up, every time they see you, you remind them of what they hate about themselves. But you didn't do it on purpose. You did it to uplift them. But there's an infinite amount of people, but let's put them in two groups. Those that can stomach the need for change, and those who want to pretend it don't exist. So I said, to continue here, most have titles related to branding or marketing because they all are products. They all are products. Like them, the people, are products of programming. They're zombies, clones who can't recall their last original thought. See, I don't have to block them and go behind their back and say this. I'm saying it to them. Most of the comments that you can't see here, like this one, they all look like this, where somebody said something and I respond directly to them. Boom. I'm responding directly to the people. I don't have to block you and go talk behind your back. But the reason they block and they won't show back up again is on here. But to those in the arena seats, which are the ones watching, how can any of these people see? This is what cut them. How can any of these people in the comments be the best for you to work with for your brand, business, family, whatever you doing with, whatever you would have been doing with them, to galvanize your brand, your community, after you just witnessed how each one of them, all the names on the list of names, fear having original thoughts? What can they truly do for you to help you stand out if they fight this hard to fit in? See, because that means that All they doing is selling you what they did for someone else. But your problem, your solution, that's needed might be different, which is why you never really feel good afterwards. I mean, it's temporary. And then you get the buyer's remorse, or then you get the extra bills. Like we talked about with Chris Doe's minimalistic approach to logos. Your marketing and branding is going to skyrocket. Cost is going to skyrocket because your logo's not working because it doesn't tell a full story. It's too concise. And that's what's in this video. The breakdown, the science, the statistics, the numbers. That's why I'm the future. That's why he's taking notes from me. But he doesn't want you to know that. Because when you believe it's coming from him, it's palatable. And that's what fucked up a lot of his dojo members. Because once they came and they talked their shit and they said, wait a minute, let me see what this motherfucker's talking about. Let me go look at this shit. And they were like, wait a minute. I guarantee you it's at least 5 to 10% of his people right now that came on here talking shit that went and did the research, like looked at the rest of my LinkedIn, went and looked at the videos, saw the content, and was like, damn, he did just recently start talking like this. Just recently, he was always about this. So when they thought it was coming from him, it was palatable. And they were proud. And they were looking at me like, you trash, piece of shit. Until they found out, wait a minute, Chris Doe is selling ideas from trash of Pasha Paroh? What does that make us? If we thought Pasha was trash, but we celebrating his ideas because it came from somewhere else. Someone that we revere so greatly and has given this plateau in the industry, then that means that Pasha is the rightful heir to the throne. If your master is learning from Pasha. So the irony is that that's what I say here. So for the remainder of your lives, you shall be the puppets that Pasha Paroh made. See, because like I said, the crackheads back in the day, whether they were the painfulness of watching a godparent deteriorate or just the local neighborhood unknown, we got a lot of time to study. So we're very well versed in addiction. We got thrown in a drug diversion program the first time you get caught when you were hustling back in the day. Your little weed pack. So we learn, we study all about what an addict is. So I know what I'm looking at when I see you. Not you, but those people. And they hate that you can see them. Like the movie They Live. So they'll forever be puppets of Pasha now. The other part is this part. I said they are the education of as a product units from the factory, and they want to pass quality control for their professionalism. But profession, we know from people who's actually followed my content, is a pledge made by one entering a religious order. See, I'm not a part of their cults, and they are all mad. The music industry, Chris Doe, the art industry, this and you name it. because I don't join their ranks and follow their tier structure. But to understand why, you can go back and ask Discover Financial why Pasha don't give a fuck about your hierarchy, because he didn't care in corporate America either. Like, I'm the same way when I was in a relationship with 30 plus net $1 billion companies. Your little $5 million ain't shit in my mind. You don't even make your own product. See, I lost respect. I couldn't relate. Because when I used to see Chris, I used to see someone who I thought produced something. And then you can see the more recent videos where he show you behind the scenes team in his office. He got people in there looking like a mini sweatshop. Now, the entrepreneur would say, oh, that's entrepreneurism. You hire people. But I see that as the 48 laws of power, where it says appear to be the 48 laws or the art of war. One of them that says appear to be the magician. Have the team of people in place that do the work for you, but you take credit for the work. And there's a fork in the road there. See, because that's why it says appear to be the magician. When you appear to be, that's stating that you're presenting yourself as something that you're not. You're appearing to be, which means that you aren't the magician. So you're here talking about all of this brand stuff, but the people who made it are somewhere off camera, semi-fearing if they're going to have a job next year based on how they treat you in the background. The same way the various levels of toxic workplace exist in corporate America. Because see, I can read emotion even though I'm not emotional. I can get people's vibes. That's why I have the vibe workshop coming out, which is why you hear Chris talking about vibes recently. But when you see the person being put on camera, showing what they're doing in the process, and you can tell they don't really want to be on camera. They're only doing this because they have to. And you can see that the person hosting the video and the person they're talking to on the back end don't really have the relationship, the working relationship that they're trying to appear to be. You got to know many people are directors in their mind, in their own site. They know what reality TV show is. We can see when it's not real. We can see when it's uncomfortable because it's not how it is on a daily basis. It's not genuine. I guess a lot of stuff to add up into me saying how I feel, because I used to be proud, but I always mention my sources. I ain't gotta say it every single time, but when it's new to me, I come out and say, "Hey, look, getting this from Chris, Chris Doe or the Future, Alex Hormozi." You know what I mean? I don't mind it, because I would prefer for the people to go and get information from the source, because if they have any questions, the source has probably countless days, years, weeks, months, lives, whatever, that they've spent having a certain perspective on why they say it. I can learn what I learned from taking and applying to my shit and build my shit up. But what you asking a question, you need to talk to them, because boom, all I can do is repeat what they said in the quote, tell you what it means to me. And that's the disconnect, because when they try to take the information they get from Pasha, which a lot of people done, like, I'm used to it. Like, part of why I do this is why I'm not mad. I'm interested in how it was done. This case, because it was greatly disappointing and how this ended, because you think you're dealing with people with honor and integrity, and we know there's no honor amongst thieves, but you know that when you know you're going into a relationship with a thief. So the organization factor is what I'm curious about with this one, to us to better understand how we getting shadow banned for my conscious community. Like, this is what we're studying here, in case you don't get it. I know we're at like 90 minutes into it, but I ain't got shit else to do but study. And this is why when I say something, I know what I'm talking about. It's almost 2 a.m. I'm up studying, and I'm sharing this thought process with you. So by the time I talk about it a week from now, 2 weeks from now, 6 months from now, I'm not speaking from emotion. Now, on a small scale, we're used to this shit in the community. We're used to the small timers, right? But the way I look at it overall is unchanged, because I want them to get the information, because to me, the point is, I want to change the world. The reality, the truth is, there's no way I can talk to each person in the United States / and or America to the point of taking them from where they're at to transforming their lives. There's no way I can talk to each one of them. I don't care if my YouTube video was blew up tomorrow. They're not going to get the quality, in-depth experience, each one of them, that's needed based on where they're at and where they need to get to from me. So what I like to do is I like to go, okay, you call yourself a leader. I'm not going to let's not argue that part, right? You got 500 people apparently that's following your swag. Let's fine tune it. And I work with the leaders. Okay, you got 500 people following you. You got 5,000 people following you. Now it gives me something manageable, because I can then focus on working with, over a period of time, 500 people, and I can groom them. And then I can put them, let's say I can let them go back into society and create positive impact. Because if I go try to say, hey, let me jump in the camera all the time and talk to them, and they don't understand Pasha. They don't speak Pasha. I have a hard enough time speaking to general people about general topics, because 98% of the population don't speak English. They think they do, but they don't know it. That's why I like our group here. We can relate, and what we don't know, we at least know to question, whether that means let's ask a question or let's go do more research. That's the difference between informatively socially influenced people and normatively socially influenced. We want the information before we decide. So, and this is documented on my channel and post and Facebook for years. If I work with 500 people and this person got 500 followers, this one's got 5,000, this one's got 15,000, this one's in the music industry doing 20,000, this one's in sales, got 5,000 following them. Well, if I adjust their swags, now I'm reaching hundreds of thousands of people with the information. in a natural language and a natural swag that they already value and appreciate. That's why you don't see me wanting to be the face of everything. So that's the long story. That's why I got the quote, everybody works for me as long as they do them. I just need to find out what you do. Okay, now let's talk for a little while. All right, now there you go. Back in the game, son. So if I give it to you, if you compensate me for the experience, or if you think you stole it from me, you're still working for me. But see, it's not actually for me though, because my life purpose came from the Most High. I was sent here to aid in the ascension process, as people would say. What happens is the Most High put this person around you, maybe to become what they might call you their friend. And they learn from you and they do this. And sometimes friendships don't last, but they take what they learn from you and they go off into the world. And they see, that's how the Most High had to manipulate their perspective of you to make sure that they left the situation with the intangibles needed to go perform their mission in the perfection of the Most High. That's why I don't trip. Because if I didn't understand this, it would be a lot of more action, and I probably wouldn't be here right now, and a lot of people wouldn't be either. But see, I work for the Most High. I work for humanity. So the person A, the Most High tuned them to work out a friendship with you, as you would call it. I don't have friends. Emotional people give titles like that. Narcissists and people that want control and power give titles like that because they're trying to create ownership. Oh, well, if you were my friend, you wouldn't do that. You would do this. See, they're trying to create rules and regulations based on titles, and fuck that. Because fuck that. The only thing on control if you be here tomorrow is what you do today. Period. Which is why all the people that disappeared today won't be here tomorrow. But that was how it was supposed to be. Because they were there when I told them that they wouldn't be there no more. This is how the magic of the Most High works. I ain't gonna call it magic for those people who don't know words, but they want to get caught up on one word. So the friend might come through and get the information from being your friend, if that's how you see it. You might have become an employee at a job at a company. You might be thinking you're there to get the paycheck, but in reality, the Most High brought you there because there's 7 people in that company that you need to talk to over 4 years to help them with their life and their perspective and deliver the intangibles to them so that they can go do things that they don't even know they're going to do in the future. And even though they may not give you the credit, it was you that made it possible. All time affects all time, all the time. So the Most High knew this, so that's why he put you in position at that job. That's why you wondering why I was the best employee there, and I don't know what happened. All of a sudden, they just decided to get rid of me. It's because your work was done. You thought you was there for the check. The Most High put you there for the respect. Not in the way you might think the word means, but in its real meaning, to relate. The Most High put you there so that the people who had no clue can relate to the truth in the future when the time comes from their experience with you. See, these NPCs, these These, what is it, NPC, non-player characters, these non-players don't know that. They got to go by their programming. So we talked about the friend. I'm doing this all off the top. I know it's scattered. I know you guys are used to me being organized, but this is super real, right? This is not in the format of education. Let's say it like that. It's just me being off the cuff. So we talked about the friend might get what they need that they didn't know they needed from you, whether they give you credit or not. The Most High put y'all together for that period of time because of something they need to do in the future, but they had to talk to you about it. You talked about how you get the job, you think you're there for the check, but reality you're there through the osmosis factor to upgrade or change the vibratory frequencies of select people at the workplace. Well, then you got the ones who are going to appear or be stimulated. The Most High is going to put it into them. See, you gotta accept that the devil and the Most High work together. So the devil, Most High is going to have the devil put it into them, however you describe it to yourself. But I'm going to just say the Most High going to put it into them to motivate them. They wouldn't want it. They wouldn't want the information from you if they didn't feel like, ooh, I came to his page. This is new information. Nobody knows who he is. He's only got like 400 followers. I've got 85. I got 800,000. I can take this information and go, whoo. Now, there's a fork in the road for that person of doing the right thing, which is say, hey, you know what? There's this small time guy named Pasha Paroh. If you want to think I'm small time just because your bank account of fake debt notes that ain't worth nothing but gives you access to some things so you think you're privileged, but you're dumb, right? For not realizing the value would have been to say, hey, this relatively small time person, Pasha Paroh, got this amazing perspective. You know what I mean? I had an opportunity to collab with him, bring him on to the platform, or even just mention that I got the information from him. Go check him out. You know, he's coming up the ranks. He's doing his thing, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And this is what he's thinking. No. Some people want to repackage it as their own, which is fine. What I'm getting at is that particular person had a chemistry. And the only way that information that's needed to come through you would get to the people who he's gatekeeping of is for the Most High to cause him to feel like he's stealing from you and see the value to go put it out as his own content, his own thought process. But that was one of the only ways it would get delivered to those people. Because he's not going to invite you on the show. The people aren't going to magically stumble across your page one day to get the knowledge. So what we got to do, public, is you got to understand your gifts. Your gifts are extraordinary. Okay? They're extraordinary. Just like I said earlier, the reason I refer people to the people is because I know what they said, but I don't know why they said it. So he's going to go and repeat stuff, not knowing the infinity of what I was actually saying. He might be able to get a good chunk. he got some wisdom. He got some knowledge. He got some experience. He might think he know the full thing. To him, he thinks he knows. But that's what we talked about early on. You don't know what you don't know. And if he only knows 2%, but he out there selling the 2% as 100%, that's called watered down Kool-Aid. How are you gonna drink Kool-Aid only 2% Kool-Aid? And you consuming it thinking it's the 100%, but then here you find out here's the not from concentrate over here. And then that's when the whole following gets fucking disrupted, because they're like, wait a minute, we're drinking the Kool-Aid. This motherfucker got the concentrate. And it fucks their head up because they thought that their source, their magician, was giving them 100%. And they find out they getting 2% milk out the pacifier, out the bottle. So then they hate you, they hate us, because they realize we're the fucking real deal and we're the source. And they can't relate to us because they spent so much time talking shit about people like us, or we look like people they talk shit about, or they just don't want to believe that it came from us. Because let's go on. So they're part of education as product units from the factory, and they want to pass the quality control of their professionalism, which is a pledge made by one entering a religious order. And I'm not a part of the cult. They are not free to have original thoughts, as that would be a violation of their installed intellectual property, iRobots, and would be a breach of their brainwashing. I mean, their uploaded software agreements. See, they were uploaded software into them, so they have to maintain certain strict performance specs, or else the washers come in. So to be authentic, one must check all the boxes. To be genuine, real, one must just be. Let this be a lesson to you, right? But here's the thing. This is what got them. Because see, they were all here. I mean, because look, this is what happened. All the posts came in, all the comments happened. And then I said, you know what? All these people talking reckless. Let me show them how Chris's method, because I put this video out, a couple of days ago. I said, well, let me just show them how Chris's method, they're worshiping idol. The idol they're worshiping is actually why it costs why it's not the best for their clients, and it's costing them so much extra money at the end because of it being a minimalistic logo versus a complex design, which is what I covered here. So I posted this. Then like some time went by, and I posted this, and this, kind of like to close out the day, because I was closing out I was done. It quieted down. I'm like, great, it quieted down, because I'm gonna respond to the comments as they come in. Some days there's no comments, some days there's 2 comments, some days there are 5. Today there was 60. Yeah, so I'm gonna put the work in. I'm gonna respond as long as I can. Okay, so it quieted down. I was like, cool, we're gonna close this out. I'm done with this. I learned a lot from the fools on the new updated fool regulation, code of conduct. And so I put this up here. As you can see, 4 hours ago was I kind of typed it, went back, typed it again. I'm talking about all in a couple of minutes. Oh, I misspelled this word, let me change it. I be doing that shit. Sometimes I don't give a fuck. But so I put here, and when I say went back, I mean, it might be all like within 2, like you type in and see, oh shit, because sometimes I be thinking the computer be fucking with me, man. Like I be putting in, like I be typing, you put in a word, it might be something like it leave off a letter that changes the word and shit. I be like, hold on, let me make that right. So And it says, and that's why you won't see any more comments from these people on my page. I said, no, I'm not blocking them. See, it's always like I'm telling the future. Like, you've been following the channel. You know what I'm talking about when I say that people be coming back 5 years after I told them something. Told them, oh my God, they don't say we didn't believe you, but that's what they said. What you said, that we called you stupid and dumb, told you it was crazy. Get away from us. We don't want to be friends with you. No, we're around you. And oh my God, what you said came true. What are we supposed to do that? Like, I've been living this life my whole life. I'm so tired of it because they don't think. So it's always to me like I'm living in the future, surrounded by people who are in the past. And I know you can relate to that being the public here at White 7. That's why, unless you are just documenting, spyware for the other side when you watch this, that's what we go through. And I'm glad that we can have these talks and discussions and know that you're not the only one, and I'm not the only one either. Because the rest of the world wants us to wants us to feel that, oh, you're the only one going through this. Like, if something wrong with you, that's gaslighting. So this is a great support group for informatively, socially influenced people. So and that's why you won't see any more comments from these people on my page. No, I'm not blocking them. Right? No, I'm not blocking them. It's because they were never here to add value. They were here to hold their sign in the spotlight while it lasts. And the truth hurts, so they won't be back. May we all close tonight with a toast to the mindless zombies of donation who came out in full force to represent the illness and disease partially contained in their dojo. And I put the nice little view of what it looks like with 100 zombies running at you from an exterior breach. Because that's what it looked like. 100 mindless zombies trying to run down on me in some like Call of Duty game where you got the unlimited ammo code. You know what I'm saying? All right, so I put here, these posts, these cowards, because 50 plus cowards came to my profile having an opinion on why I should not have an opinion. And I stood by myself on truth because I'm used to standing by myself on truth. I know you are too. And so that's what happened. So when at the time I got this notification and I clicked on it in the notifications, and then it came and it didn't show up. And I was like, oh, that's odd. Let me refresh the page, and it never showed up. Then I realized they're all missing. So, organization. The order was given for everybody to withdraw, like a military operation. And they all blocked me at the same time, which is great because the goal is to bring in the handful of real people and then repel all of the fake shit that we don't want. Right? So, but yeah, this is what happened. I mean, you can come to the page and read it. So I like to reach out to people. I think many people who are doing something does, right? Like when I talk to the business owners, I'd be like, well, they'd be like, man, it'd be great if so-and-so and from such and such, if I could talk to them or do that, I'm like, well, have you tried reaching out to them? They'd be like, no, because I'm just a small. Well, say something to them. See, I got background talking to people that people think are out of reach and celebrities and all that stuff. When you meet the motherfuckers behind the scenes, you find out they either just like us or worse than us, bro. Like I said, your product, they not better than you. They not better than you. What they got is here. What they do have is, let's say they've been in the game for a minute, because I started to go down this road earlier. If you're talking to someone who's a veteran in the game and they've been doing it for 30 years, you're looking at them now like, man, they just, I'll never have you looking at them like that. Instead of saying, that's what's up. I feel for them because they're trapped. You might not never looked at it like, this may be a first impression. They entered the game, let's say 20 years ago. 20 years ago, you couldn't send a picture on a cell phone. Right? 20 years ago, you couldn't print on a full print on a t-shirt. 20 years ago was a lot different. Go back to the 90s, things were a lot different. So 30 years ago, someone who got started 20 to 30 years ago started from what basically is a prehistoric world for most of you. And what I mean by prehistoric is the technology, the customs, the culture, the people, the world itself, the way business is done, the devices, the tools, the technology, the Wi-Fi, none of that was there. So all of the how-to, the DIY information you're going to get for how to do something today, when they started, it's pre-history of that information, because that information didn't exist when they got started. So technically, they're prehistoric, right? So they're prehistoric in how they got started, and they built up each year, improving from a prehistoric state. Now, from where you're looking at them today, perspective-wise, that doesn't mean that they didn't make their little fiat currency and they got 5 million a year and they sitting on 30 million or whatever the case may be. They did that. And they got 30 million because they don't know what to do with $30 million. So it just sits there and looks at them in their face. Like, you want to do something with me today? No. See, green belts know that that's wasteful, no matter what it is, to have more than what you need at any one point in time. It's called waste. So whenever you hear someone tell me, I got $5 million in my account, what do you got? That means you don't have any fucking idea what to do with it. If you did, you'd be doing something with it. Like, I applaud the people like me. I'm a living example. You got 50 grand, you put that shit into something, and even if it don't go right, and you got to start over from scratch, I applaud your ass for doing something with the 50 grand. You took a chance, you took a risk, you learned shit, you tried, you grew from it. You didn't walk around talking about you better than your neighbor because you got 50,000 and they getting food stamps. Like, no, you tried to do something to make an impact so that you could help the neighbor not need to be on food stamps. You took the risk. You rolled the dice. Sometimes you come up, sometimes you fall off of it. I applaud your ass more than I applaud the person talking about they got $2 billion in the bank because they don't have an idea what the fuck to do with it. But you don't look at it, you don't think about it like that, because I'm 2% of the population that knows how to articulate the truth. Not you, Y7. You look at it like you feel some type of way about it, but this might be why you feel the way you feel. And some of y'all think the same way. So we on the same spectrum compared to the rest of the Gen Pop. That's why I call y'all my public and they the Gen Pop. They sitting around with all this opportunity and don't know what to do with it. But that's the difference. That's why you can't be looking at them different, because what you don't realize is maybe they had connections, they had a network that you don't have. You working with the people you got, you building them up to the best of you're giving them 1,000%, and maybe they're able to pay you $3,000 right now. That's your network. Maybe they only can pay you $1,500, but they surrounded by people who, for the same work, they're gonna be, oh, here's 20,000, man. Here's 2,500 as a tip, because they both dumb, right? This one got sold an inferior product, paid $22,000 for it. And then this one's dumb for selling an inferior product, thinking it was the best, until they find Pasha and be like, oh shit, wait a minute. Oh, I could do this and I'll be worth more. Right? Instead of saying, hey, let's Pasha collab, let's build the nation together. You know, a lot of Asians like to do like China and reverse engineer shit and call it their own, and put out their own little cheap ass version of the product. So that's the problem, is the lack of collaboration. But they're not better than you. A lot of you are artists on my page. About 13 to 15% of you are artists, and something like 20% of you, 17% I think at times, are in the music industry in some way. You're starting out, you're looking at people with huge studios. I know these people. I'm not saying I know them like I could tell you everything about them, but I mean, I know of them. I've gone to the studios. You know, I've been with these celebrities in the back. Which somebody was like, you know, people, I didn't realize people have such negative feelings about what you want to call celebrities until like a recent post. People, and it was crazy. They're like, you're this because you're taking pictures with celebrities, and I'm like, that was fucking 20 years ago. Dumbass. It's 20 years ago. So maybe you're looking at the person with the big studio, and then that compels you to say, hey, you need to be like this. Now, I've had opportunities to work, I ain't gonna say work at, but I mean work to learn at training programs, I guess would be the proper. I could have went to training programs and whatever at any of these studios that you think of in the Southeast. Well, Charlotte, a couple in Atlanta. Here's my thing. Tell me what you think about this. The reason I didn't take that approach, right, is because if you go and you learn how to do music, on the big full studio production board, and you learn everything, patch bay cabling and all this stuff. You're learning what we know when we do music is you're developing an ear for your sound. You're developing an ear for your sound. You got to ask yourself, are you wanting to be chained to a studio? Do you want to be chained to needing a big giant board? Or you want to be chained to needing $5 million worth of rack gear? Because the moment you learn on this and then you go work on something else, you have to know you got to learn all over again. So what was the point in learning in an environment that you're not planning on working in? And a lot of people feel some type of way about me because I was like, no, thank you. But it's because I know for me, I want to work on music at my place. I don't want to necessarily have to be worried about clients for music. I don't like people enough like that, right? You see the disconnect we have just trying to talk to regular people. Like, that's not me. I wanted to learn to make music. I wanted to make the music. I didn't want to sell the process of making music. So a lot of those relationships were not as not what they could have been, because sometimes people, if you're not complying to what the way they're used to people acting around them, then they think that there's something wrong with you, and or then that's when levels of disrespect comes into play in their mind, because technically it is disrespect because they can't relate to why you're not valuing their process from prehistoric times. But it's really because out of all the conversation and all the feelings they might have had, they never took the time to learn you, to say, hey, what is it you're actually trying to do? Before they told you this is what you need to do. So how many of you as a business owner has talked to, because I hear the aftermath all the time, talk to a business coach and they're giving you this blueprint, or you can go on LinkedIn, go on Facebook business pages right now and see 7 ways for you to, who says who? Top 3 ways to do. For who? That's what I'm saying. That's why I be so disgusted. It's disgusting. These blanket statements, these cookie cutter shit. Because they try to give you this one size fit all shirt and it don't fit everybody. So we got to blame the consumer for continuing to purchase it. And who are the consumers purchasing the bullshit? The normatively socially influenced people of the United States citizenship. You see how the cancer spreads? So stop letting people tell you what's best for you who never took the time to ask what you thought was best for you, like what you wanted to do. Like if they don't know where you try and get to, how can they give you directions? But in their back corners, office, in their circles, they have so much to say about you and can shadow ban you and can put in the order for people to block you, all because they don't know who you are. They don't know you. They can compare you to what they think they know. That's part of why they get mad at us, because we get intricately deep down into who they actually are, and we discover and we find out, and that's why they don't like us, because we know who they really are. And when we hold up the mirror, it's something that they never seen before, because nobody never presented their real self to them. That's why authentic people and genuine people don't mix, because genuine is real. Authentic is, do you qualify? Can you meet this criteria? And can you meet this criteria? It's not, are you real? Right, JTR. So whole industries lock us out because you're a fucking threat. And they know as soon as you get the paper that they got, you know what to do with it. Everybody heard the story before about Jay-Z, quote, running, and it's hearsay, right? I think Jay-Z said it himself in a couple, when he was talking about, y'all gotta get ready, 50 Cent coming. See, the people who are on truth are like 50 Cent. The others are Jay-Z. So the long story short, I mean, let's do this real quick. You can come to the page. There's another video. I captured a video because I had to I gotta do that now. I need receipts because people be deleting shit. People be going back, editing shit. Like they'll say something to you in the post comment. You gotta watch this, y'all. You'll be having an engagement with them online, and you go back and they done change the comment. Like, and I don't mean like edit it. They type and they caught a typo, changed it. I mean they go back, see what you wrote, and change it so that they can play the victim later on. That's why we had to screenshot it, because if I didn't know any better, I would think something was wrong with me. So I would screenshot shit and I'd be like, hold on, let me check. Yeah, no, that ain't what that said before. Why is it different? Oh, I see what you're trying to do. But don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of it. To be you. Because that's what they want. They want you to be afraid of interacting, of being real, because then they win. Then they win. Like this one. This is something separate today, right? So the post was on something. I responded to it, and it was relative to the statement. And I shared the 34 Wonderlic score because it's a prison situation. But the interesting thing with this one is he goes, "Hey, the Wonderlic score is almost always um, used to measure cognitive ability post trauma, right?" Okay. Now, see, he said that, but he don't know what he said, right? You do know that a Wonderlic score is almost always used to measure cognitive ability post trauma, right? Now, how would you take that? How does that, what do you think he was saying there? Um, is he saying that, hey, you dummy, they only use that on crash dummies? Or is he saying, well, in this area, they always use this after this? Well, let's see what the context became. My mother was a neurophysiologist, a neuropsychologist, excuse me, right? And used it for accident victims. So far, it can go either way. It can go a bunch of different ways, right? Now, I told him later on, you'll see his brain damage, his projection issues causes him to capitalize the neuropsychologist because he's trying to emphasize authority in his mind to diminish the truth that I'm delivering, right? Because he's what he is he's responding to his projection issues of, I don't know if he don't like that it comes from someone that looked like me. I don't know if he don't like my name. I don't know if he don't like, because we had about a 6 week, 8 week history. I could pull up his profile, see how long. I take profiles on everybody. I like to know who I'm dealing with. So what I noticed with him, and you'll see me say here, well, I said it in the first time, but he deleted the post. He deleted the response. And I'm laughing because it's so sad. Like, these people are so desperate to appear to be something that they're not, that you can't even talk to them without them having some sort of spasm in their mind that causes them to have gaslight tendencies or become like looking to be like a narcissist. And it's a disease that we really need to consider getting rid of, because the trauma of the experience, to those who don't overstand if you don't overstand that this is a mental disorder that you're dealing with, you would want to become accepted by the diseased, which means you will start to mimic the disease and disorder yourself. And that is a huge problem in our society, which is why we're dealing with the normative social influence issue that we have. But let's look at this further. So he says, and this is what I do. I study people all day. This is how come I know what I know. I just study people. This is a real life case study right here for you. And what happens is, this is why they don't want to talk to us anymore. Because they bullshit don't work, and they go home throwing up when they see themselves in the mirror. And every time they see you, you remind them that they don't like who they are. It's not that they don't like you. It's that every time they see you, you remind them. Remember saying, you remind me, right? You remind them that they hate themselves. But all you were trying to do is help them not hate themselves. Anyway, so to continue, Remember, there's a fork in the road. How does he mean it? We don't know. If we didn't know, then we could have the opportunity to stop and ask a question. Hey, you said it's a one leg score is almost always used to measure cognitive ability post trauma, right? What do you mean by that? Like, that's what we do. That's what smart people do. We ask the question. But since his conversation is still going, he's still talking. Let's see if we can find out what he meant. So he goes, you do know that a Wonderlic score is almost always used to measure cognitive ability post trauma, right? My mother was a neuropsychologist with a capital N, not just a neuropsychologist. She was one with a capital N. So she was special and used it for accident victims. Here's where we find out. You throw it around like a badge of honor and something that is commonplace or used to measure how brilliant someone is. Oh. So now we find out that you believe the only application for a Wonderlic cognitive test score is for crash dummies. Okay. Because of your limited view of applications, because you got a low score. Right? So he continues, you do know that it is unrelated to how smart someone is or what their aptitude for learning is, don't you, Pasha Paroh? Like, this is how they just hate, man. But if you ain't getting hated on, you ain't doing something right though. So when you throw it out, when you throw out what your score is, the first thing that comes to mind is, I wonder what head injury was suffered. Now, I'll tell you what prepared me for this in life. I was back at the plant. Because see, what people don't realize, remember I said I would ask the question there, hey, what do you mean when you say it's always used to measure cognitive ability post trauma, right? I would just ask the question so I would know instead of assuming. See, what people don't know that I realized, I learned at that moment that I have to clarify, because when you know something, it's easy to talk about it like other people know it too, right? So you talk about things that you think is common knowledge, is common sense, but you gotta realize that you gifted public here at the White at 7. You extraordinary. So what's common sense to you, it might be off planet to some other people, right? They may not be ready for it, but it's common sense to you. So when I say I test in the top 2%, that's when I had to follow it up with, I learned to follow it up with, it's a prison. So I had to add the disclaimer, the disclosure that I'm telling you this to let you know it's a prison, because it means that the other 98% of the population, we're not going to connect right, at least right away. So I'm trapped in a prison where, if I'm lucky, 2 out of every 100 people I meet might last a week. Versus some people who are more common, more of the people that they come in contact with will be like them. But the irony is, if you're saying that this society's been dumbed down and you're looking for fitting in with the more common, you know, I guess that means that ignorance is popular. So if you're not ignorant, that's why the new racism is on conscious intelligence, right? So let's look at this, my response. He said, and if you didn't know any better, like, you would fall victim to looking at maybe something like what this person said and being like, oh shit, I didn't realize it is, right? No, you know better. But I responded before, and I said some things. But when I came back, something happened, and I said, well, let me go back and and not add this to the post, but say this in another reply. And when I went to do that, my reply was gone, but he left his post. I mean, his comment, right? And that's when I was like, oh, this is some bullshit. I didn't know you was doing this to my, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't know you was deleting my stuff afterwards to make it, you know what I mean? Because it's an impactful thing when you see, let's say you go back to that comment and it's like, and if I sat there and it appears I didn't say nothing in response, then that would have a certain impact in how it's perceived of the conversation. Oh, you know, capital N psychologist must have been right, and Pasha don't know what he talked to the ignorant people, right? But again, that's to the ignorant people. But we're not trying to appeal to the ignorant people anyway. We want to grow and groom the intellectuals. But yeah, he deleted my comment. So I put it back on. I said, let me screenshot it this time to make sure it's there. And then after that, he blocked me. Like, this is why I be laughing, man, because people be trying to do you dirty. And then they get mad when you come out clean. They be trying to do you dirty and they get mad when you come out clean. Like, that's what they mad about. They mad they try to do you dirty and you came out clean. Like, you motherfucker, you still cry. And they be short circuited and then they want to get rid of you. Like, dude, like, just fucking be real. Like, damn, we was having a conversation. You mad? So I said, I guess you deleted my response, so I'm a screenshot with you now. The long story short is that your low Wonderlic score may have limited your consideration of applications for the Wonderlic test. The brain issues you're suffering, because now I'm irritated. Like, the first time it was more like just a response, like, hey, look, you know, it makes sense when you think about it, being as though the Wonderlic score tests the abilities of the brain, problem solving aptitude, cognitive processing speed, verbal and numerical reasoning, logical thinking, general knowledge, and performance under pressure. So what they're doing, they're using that test after an accident to measure, well, if you've taken blunt force trauma to the head, what is your level of brain function right now? And I guess now that I'm thinking about it, it's probably why the NFL uses it too, because they're probably getting the baseline when you first start, so that if you have a concussion or something and they measure you there, that they can see if any numbers deviate. Because it's mainly used by a lot of employers who are looking for skills, right? And I think I said that down here. So look, the brain issues that you're suffering from have you capitalizing neuropsychologists to make your mother appear to be more of an authority than the truth. And that's when I told him what the Wonderlic score actually measures. And I said that's all things you want to test to after trauma to the head. In reality, the Wonderlic is primarily used by employers across various industries. And I got this from Google because I didn't feel like typing it out. So I just said, put this in there for them. And industries to access potential employees. I already knew this because if you go back and look at the post, this is where I got the picture from, similar places where it shows you the jobs, the industry, and the level of Wonderlic score that they recommend you should have to work and be successful in a certain job title or industry. They have the whole thing mapped out. Like, for example, off the top of my head, I think a 32, because I can't really see the number down there. A 32 is a systems analyst. So I got 34. I test off their these charts here. So I'm supposed to be per that at least a rocket scientist, but they knew that about me when I was in third grade. Like, it's nothing new for me, but I grew up in this prison of intellect, right? I watched other people in the classes. I'm not gonna say they deteriorate. I remember some people that was in the class with me. Like out of our whole school, they would come get. It was like 9 of us out of our whole school. They would come get like 2 days this week, 3 days the following week, and we would go to this other. They would take us to this other school during school hours. Like I was on a short bus, but for the opposite reason of of it being a retarded bus. You know what I mean? And we would go have our special classes that were all day long classes at this whole other school, because we only had one school that did the special courses in the whole district. So yeah, they would come get about 8 or 9 of us, 2 days this week, 3 days the following week, and it would rotate like that. And we would go to this other school and have class there all day long, and then get brought back right, like literally right before the buses leave, just in time for us to hop on our bus and go back home. So certain entities and people have been watching me my whole life because I've shown up on certain scoring systems my entire life. Hold on, I got distracted for a moment. And then so the NFL uses it, employers use it, and it says companies in diverse sectors like manufacturing, technology, healthcare, this, that, and the other, roles for requiring strong analytical skills. And this is where, like I said, this is the second time I got posted because you deleted it, but I saw this as valuable to have this conversation documented. So I didn't get to put all the detail in before when I was, crafting the response the first time, because I was like, let me just post the important stuff and snapshot it. But I had these irritation points too. So yeah, I said, but they're looking for skills, so you may never have been tested, right? Because like, bro, why did you just delete my comment? But keep your shit up there like I'm just supposed to, you know what I mean? Like, don't do that. So the reason I comment on this stuff is not to assert my superiority or dominance or self, whatever. It's to build the conversation, to build a narrative, to get the community to think beyond the current state. That's why I comment on your post and or anybody else's post. Because yeah, the Fifth Amendment says we got the right to remain silent and property and all kinds of stuff. So no, I don't have to say anything to y'all. But I choose to, because some of y'all I enjoy the interaction with because you're the right mentalities and mindsets. The other ones is strategic purpose on nation building, because we have to reach a critical mass. And because you ain't the right person to tell them, don't mean you're not the right person to have a conversation, so that the right person can learn from the conversation that may be connected to you and never have met me otherwise. Like I said, I'm looking for the leaders to invest in. So these are probing exercises. These are learning opportunities for that individual and their community around them. And then I get to see who's who by how they act with the truth. So this dude was really telling me, oh, that test is for crash dummies, because he don't know any better. And if you didn't know any better, you would be sitting there watching the comments and be like, oh, Pasha don't really. And then you would have this whole formulation based on now what you heard, the hearsay of what you heard someone say about 34 1 score, who didn't know what the fuck they talking about, but maybe there's someone you look up to. So now you believe the rhetoric and you run around repeating it and regurgitating it. You form an opinion about Pasha, and you run around repeating information that both of it is incorrect. And that's how society is destroying society. And like I said, when you look at it at the end of the day, it's why we can't build nothing together. I ain't gonna say nothing, but it's why innovation is so slowed down. You're working for the government when you do it because the government wants to prevent the people from innovating, because as long as you don't build it and the military can keep somehow getting 20 to 40 years ahead of us each year, then they'll always be the dominant superior force in innovation, which makes the people dependent upon them for technology, for what you call modern day technology, even though the word technology originally referred to grammar, which is why you see me put so much emphasis on the words, because that was the original technology. So if we don't know the words mean, we are misusing our most basic fundamental technology. Ugh. Like vomit, like it's sickening. And then what do? Instead of learning to become better, not you, but what do? Instead of learning to become better with the technology, they learn to become better with their emotional ass shit. And they have little temper tantrums, and they fall out in the middle of the store, or they fall out in the middle of the conversation and starts flopping around and saying how they don't want to continue and go on because of how you made them feel. And that's why they have the word minorities, which means of childlike minds. Would you say that this was a childlike action? I can see if he deleted the whole thing. Like, let me delete the whole post, because now you made me mad. I'm just gonna get rid of everything. No, you you deleted my response so that you could appear to be something that you're not, because the response triggered him. Actually, yeah, I think what I put in there, because I was like, okay, I see what you did there, and you capitalized that because you want to make your mother look like an authority figure with the capital N, so that you can say she's more of an authority than me. Because I don't know this. I only went through it, right? I only studied it and went through it and been tested and know the background, know what it's for, know the reason I was able to do engineering work in corporate America without an engineering degree or engineering experience, and run a maintenance department without even having a maintenance background, was because I had a 34 Wonderlic score. But you're going to tell me it's only used for crash dummies. You dumbass. Like that's why we need to get rid of the cancer. We need to get rid of the disease. We need to clean house. We need to reset. And that's why I'm branding America. Because we need to build what we're going to use to replace what should be eradicated. So it's a video. I did just a screenshot where just scroll through the conversation between me and Chris Doe. You can check that out. I mean, it's all there. Basically, he said, "Hey," I mean, the paraphrase, it was like, "Fuck it, let's just do it. We got the time." Because I got the screenshots. Like, damn, like you gotta like, you know what I mean? Because otherwise I'll be sitting here. I don't know. It's probably still there. Like, maybe you can see it and I just can't. Like, he probably just blocked me. He probably didn't. I don't think Chris would delete his comments. He's normally so proud of what he says and who he gives credit for where he got it from. But boom, 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 boom. So yeah, everybody work for me as long as they do them, because the good thing about it all is him putting the information out there is going to reach with his access to podcasts, connects, it might reach 20 million people that otherwise would never hear it from me. So when you want to change the world, you can't really, you got to ask yourself, do you want to change the world? Is that your real focus? Or do you want to be seen as the one who changed it? Like, which means it's going to go different ways, depending on what your real intent is. So, this is the work of. So in this episode, they talk about what's important in brand. The person, the most important thing being the person behind the brand, right? And creators, entrepreneurs are creating a facade. Well, see, the thing was, a few days prior to that, and I particularly keyed in on this topic, but I've been talking about this sort of stuff for like years now, and it's part of why people don't rock with me, because I'm saying things like this and they feel some type of way about it. So of course they avoid you because they want to maintain peace, and we're about spreading the truth here. So, and you could be like, oh well, everybody can say it, but when you get certain phrases and certain things that are lining up and certain little jokes made, that's like, wait a minute, that's what I was. Okay. So, but it's a reason why I didn't make any one particular example, because you'll see here. Let's just run through it real quick. So I was like, this the YouTube video with this Omar guy. I don't know much about him, so I didn't speak on him at all. Because I don't talk about what I don't know. But I've been watching Chris for years now. And that was the disappointment, because but it's often when you put expectations on people, it sets you up to be disappointed. But this is what I find this is why I don't look up to people anymore. Like, I used to look up to people. Not necessarily saying they had to be a celebrity, but I just used to look up to people. But I found that from afar, I found myself, I might be looking up to them, but once I got to know them, they were more so a part of the United States citizen mindset than the American focus that I'm looking for. I'll just put it like that. So it became a disappointment, and I lost interest. So I put Chris Doe got these ideas from Pasha LinkedIn page. You can go back to the first time I tagged him in a post a few months ago. He checked he came in, he checked my page a couple days in a row, multiple times, and then since then my ideas have been in his conversations. Because see, I recognize them as mine because I've been following him for, like I said, a few years now. Not following him like, everywhere he go, but I mean, like, I like his talks, right? The issue was what the disappointment was for me was not necessarily what he did. It's the trust issue that he creates in my mind now, because when I realized he took my information because it aligns with like I tag you in a post today. The thing about LinkedIn is it shows you who comes to your page. Like, it's not like Facebook where you have to wait for them to. I guess Facebook used to have it where you could set it up to see who come. I don't know. I don't go that far into Facebook. If you interact on my Facebook page, I'll see it. Like, but then Facebook be doing weird shit. Like, it don't show me who shares my stuff. Like I might just be scrolling through their profile and then realize, oh shit, you shared my shit 4 days ago. I didn't know that. Let me support you for supporting me. But LinkedIn actually shows you when someone visits your actual profile, regardless of their activity. That's super dope. So let's say I tag you in a post. Okay. You got 10 million things going on, whatever the case is. I'm not like staying on the Eminem song. And however, in looking to build at that time, a frame of mind, I'm looking to build relationships. I'm reaching out to people high and low to build relationships in this industry. I'm in this direction I'm trying to go. So yeah, why not reach out, see who wants to connect? So I sent a what they call it, a connection. So I'm networking the best I can because I don't really get along with people. So it's a struggle for me. I get that. So over like maybe let's say, I don't know, 4 to 6 weeks, let's say I tag you in, I don't know, 3 things over maybe 4 things over a 6-week period. Something like that. You never respond, right? For the first ones. Then on the fourth one, you come to my page, you come back you leave and you come back multiple times for 2 days. Hold up 3 fingers, for 2 days in a row. So you finally say, oh shit, what's this Pasha Paroh dude tagging me in this? Let me go check it out. You come to my profile, you see that, and you see some other stuff. You leave, you come back multiple times that day, and then you come back multiple times the next day, but you never say nothing. You never tag, you never not tag, you never comment, you didn't like, you didn't leave a finger, you didn't say, hey, what the fuck you doing? Nothing. Then you go, then you basically disappear. And then shortly after that, your conversations go from who you used to be for like ever to now you're adding elements of verbiage and context that I use on a regular basis. All of a sudden you start to be using. Not to say in its entirety, I ain't say you made the whole show that was all Pasha Paroh material, but if you talking on a 60-minute show and 4 minutes of it is content you got from me that people are not, you're saying this is new, revolutionary to you, but it's something I've been talking about for 5 years. See, but the people in your audience don't know that because it's their first time hearing it because it was your first time seeing it. See, that's what happened with the high level overview. So no, I'm not going to hold up. Well, prove it. What the fuck you want me to do? Sit there and give you 6 years of fucking, we'll sit down. We're going to watch the 6 years of content and you pick out what, no, because, and if I hold up one thing, you're gonna attack that, and then we're gonna lose the focus on all the other potential stuff. I don't even know what all he got. The point of the matter is, to be truthful, I put it on the internet for it to be shared. So I'm not really concerned that he took it. I'm concerned that a person of his attitude, meaning position, the right Mr. I give quote all my sources, should have quoted Pasha Paroh. But what they do is they take your information, they go study it a little bit for their 5 minutes. You've been studying this for 20 years. They get what you said. They go do some research for 5 or 10 minutes or give it to their sweatshop workers in the back. They say, explore this for me, create a report, or they put it in chat, BGBT, and they get a little printout, and then they feel like they know something because they can repeat some words, but they don't know what the words mean yet because they haven't spent time to become intimate with the thought process. Like I said earlier, I can repeat what they said, but I don't know why they said it. So I would rather refer you to them or mention them in a quote. But what he did was he spoke about things that he got from me, and then he easily went and did another Google search to see who had a quote, who could he find that had a quote or quotes that could appear to be related to what he was talking about, so that he could quote sources and appear to be genuine in his presentation. I can give you this quote and tell you this other name so that you don't look over here to see where I really got it from. And that's where I was like, oh shit, that's some fucked up shit. Like, I'd have rather you just get on there and talk about what you got from me and just say it. But then to give a whole nother source credit, oh look, I got this quote and that's what, let me share this with you, and this is where I was thinking about. No, you thought about it because it's less than a week after you just came on my page and saw it on my page. Like that, it's no coincidence. But it's how you went about it that was like, oh shit. So what that did for me is it wasn't even personal. Like, I don't have no grudge or vendetta. I'm not. What the trust issue now is if I've been watching you for, let's say, 5 years, and I think I'm learning from you because I just watched you take my shit and pretend it was yours. Like I said, I'm not mad that he took it. It's there I put it on the internet to be shared for free. I don't want no fiat currency. I ain't telling him, hey, you making money off of it, give me some. I ain't say none of that shit, because I'm not going to tell you any of that shit either when you learn it from me and go apply it in your life, because it's not what it's about for me. The point of the matter is, now that I know you took that from me, I'm looking at the last 5 years of stuff I thought you were delivering from you, like I deliver from me. I thought the content was coming from you, and now, for all I know, your whole catalog could be plagiarized. I could be looking at you when I really need to be talking to homeboy over here or home chick over there. And that's what now disrupts me in the situation. And that's the trust issue. Nothing else is important to me in the matter. It's now I can't trust you. So now that's how it started. We'll go over this. This will be quick. And so now remember, he didn't respond, right, to these posts. He come in, he checked my page, my profile, and he says nothing. He doesn't engage with anything. He doesn't like, he doesn't hate, he doesn't laugh at, he doesn't say nothing. Comes in and leaves no fingerprints purposely, right? So he goes, now that I put this out, like, yo, Chris Doe just came on my shit, took my shit, pretended it was his. Da-da-da-da. Some time go by, like a couple hours, very short time period, or measured in hours rather, and he shows up. But this time he shows up and he engages, but it's strategic. Because see, he says, Pasha, I'm not sure what you're accusing me of and what content that I've stolen from you. Can you cite what content it is, and have you checked to see if I've seen that content? Now, in the original statement, I state, because this is where all his foolish ass zombies was in the comments, like, yeah, can you, like 10% of them was like, yeah, can you show some proof? I'm like, how the fuck you gonna if you read the fucking original statement, The original statement said you purposely, because you didn't, so it was purposely done that for whatever reason the intent wasn't established at the time from my vantage point. But what I said originally was you came to my page, my profile multiple times, like more than 4. Over a 2-day period of time, each day, back to back. What were you doing? What do you do when you go to someone's page? What does it mean to you when you go back to that page multiple times in a day? Are you really taking an 8-hour workday with repeat trips to read the same post? No. What are you doing? You looking through it. You found something you like. And you looking through that shit and you taking notes. See, he a handwriter too. He don't even take notes on the computer. He's probably got the notes in his little notebook, one of the notebooks he keep walking around with all the time. But anyway, the point is, you would know that's what you're doing. You looking at the material, you looking at the content. And you came back 3-4 times a day, and then you come back the next day multiple times. What you doing? But you don't like nothing, you don't comment on nothing, you don't put the finger, you don't put a mad face, you don't say fuck you, nothing. You just silent. You not leaving no fingerprints. So he said, I'm pretty good at citing sources as evidence in most of my talks and workshops. I'm here to learn and correct mistakes. Please let me know. So see, this is, if you from the streets or you from the hood or you done been in some court situations, you recognize this statement. It may be super polished, right? But you recognize this as a plotting motherfucker. This was a plotting motherfucker. Now, either he plotted in advance when he did the shit to say, okay, I got to do it like this, which means either he done it before to other people, or he at least just plotted in advance to cover his tracks in the future as a what if I get asked these questions situation. Like, we ain't no dummies. We from the hood. That was the Shaggy song back in the day. They got me on camera. It wasn't me. Right? Like, duh. So, yeah, I'm not sure what you're accusing me of and what content I've stolen from you. Can you cite what content it is? And have you checked to see if I can see that, if I've seen that content? Now, this tells you this is a motherfucker playing with your mentality. How you gonna ask me, have I checked to see if you've seen that content? Because technically, I got a YouTube channel too that you act like. I put all this on here in a moment. We gotta get to it. How the fuck am I supposed to have checked to see if you've seen that content? What he was counting on was he was talking to a dummy, the crash dummy that the other guy was talking about with the Wonderlic score test, and he thought I was gonna be on there and be like, no, I didn't see if you saw it or not, so that he could say, well, it wasn't me. I cite my sources, which somebody else brought up. And like, all you gotta do is, like we talked about, you get the information, you go grab another source, quote, email, say this is the source, and then the whole people in your comment, your zombie audience is saying, oh, he's good at citing sources. Yeah, but I had to respond to one of his zombies, and I said, but just because he gives you a source doesn't mean that it was the original source for him. He's giving you a name of where he's got it from, And what you don't know, because you ain't never been in no court cases yourself, or had to or fought one of your own and won, or any of the above, is you don't know that that's hearsay. You don't know that you're running around believing hearsay, because you don't know what you don't know. So let's move on. Let's repeat this and move on. So he said, Pasha, I'm not sure what you're accusing me of and what content I stolen from you. Can you cite what content was? Red flag sign number 1, and have you checked to see if I've seen that content? Definitely a sign, because who the fuck can check to see what you saw on your computer or cell phone? I don't know. If you got a way to maybe I need to learn something, because shit, how the fuck you do that? Because if that's the case, and then he says, I'm pretty good at citing sources as evidence in most of my talks and workshops. I'm here to learn and correct it. Any mistakes, please let me know. He's here to learn what I know. Because see, he's posturing himself because he don't know at this moment what I know. And what he wants is, he wants for me to show my hand, which is why he's asking, can you cite what content it is? Again, pull me out there to start showing examples, to put my cards on the table. Like I ain't beat 6 state prosecutors in my history, in my background myself. Like when you start winning cases against state prosecutors, you know how to talk to people, okay? And this is why they get mad, because they used to just talking to their neighbor about something on some bullshit ass level. So you definitely frustrate the hell out of them, because their tactics don't work with you, because you see through the shit, because it's so fucking childlike mind. And that's why they're minorities, because they have their childlike minds. All right, let's move on. The next portion is, and like I said, I don't gotta talk behind your back. So here it is. Here's my response. As mentioned, Chris, with the pictures of the tools of argument, citing my sources, Black's Law Dictionary in the picture for those who know. So as mentioned, Chris, you did not publicly engage on any post in particular. See, he knows that because he carefully read my comment on Omar's YouTube video that I screenshotted as the actual post. He carefully read that, and he crafted what he said to try to dismantle that original post. Not that I was there to damage his appearance. I'm there stating what I said. I used to look up to Chris until this happened, and this is why I don't look up to people. And when I do, I'm reminded why I don't do it. Every time I make an exception to my rule, no matter how you're reminded why you don't. Okay? So yeah, I'm not emotional about shit. So as mentioned, Chris, you did not publicly engage on any post in particular. So you already know, I already said that. Why would you ask me to prove it unless you're just counting on the ignorance of your zombies to come in and the people who don't know any better to read your post because you're the popular one, and they're gonna say, "Oh, Chris asked them to show what he talking about. He didn't show it," because they don't gonna think that they're not gonna read through the comment, the original comment, and see. That's why if you look back at it, I think his original statement got like I don't know, 40, 50 people engaged with it, like on a like button thing or something, you know, like heart, whatever. It was like 50 people, but then nobody reads what Pasha say because it don't matter to them. They're emotionally attached to what the popular, whose dick they're sucking, right? So, as mentioned, Chris, you did not publicly engage. I mean, it was a couple people, but very few people read through. So, as mentioned, and the sad part is it was only four lines, 2 from him, 2 from me. So they didn't even have that much stamina to learn before they comment, before they spoke on shit they didn't know about. That's how. And the point is not even to limit this to this conversation with me and Chris and his zombies, but now scale it up to the society of the United States. This is why we need to get rid of the cancer. All of it. So as mentioned, Chris, you did not publicly engage on any posts in particular. So now my question is, are you proving that your intent was premeditated to be so calculated as to ask me to prove if you've seen my content? Because you already know I made a statement that should say at this point, based on his belief and what he knows, if he's only thinking about that, he should be knowing, he should think that I don't have a way to prove he saw my content. Which is why he would ask those questions in public, which is, all right. So per 3.1 in the tools of argument, you are arguing the wrong procedure. And he's from Vietnam. So this is actually the words from the book itself. But it was so, this is when you know the Most High is on your side. Because he's actually from Vietnam. And these are the words from section 3.1 in this book. I didn't manipulate. This is the quote from the book. So per section 3.1 in the tools of argument, you are arguing the wrong procedure. And here's where the quote from the book starts under what it says 3.1 is. Like the Vietnam War Paris. So the Most High is on your side when the person from Vietnam is making the same, I ain't gonna call it a mistake, but using the same tactic of argument as was done in the Vietnam War Paris peace talks, in which most of the preliminary negotiations were concerned with the shape of the table around which the discussions would take place. So no, I'm not gonna let you get on here and befool me because you're making the wrong argument. I'm gonna let you know you're making the wrong argument. So let's bring it back. Are you proving with your questioning, basically, your intent was premeditated to be so calculated as to ask me to prove if you've seen my content? And then the statement from 3.1. And then I immediately follow with this to say, also, is that also why, out of all things I tagged you in, Christo, you came to my page multiple times over a 2-day period and didn't like, laugh, give a finger, or comment on anything I directed toward you, yet you showed up for this one? And at that point, I said, I rest my case. You are dismissed. Now, to those who know establishing motive, the case is over. I'm done. I'm not going to argue the wrong argument of trying to prove to you which content you swipe from me. Why would I do that? That's dumb. You might have took one piece, you might have took 100. How am I I got 6 years, I got 6 to 10 years of content, maybe more. How do I know what you got, what you didn't get? What up? No, you're not gonna flip that on me. The burden of proof. How you gonna unprove this? And never once, you'll see here, he never denied coming to my page. Because see, he been studying LinkedIn because he's trying to improve his LinkedIn followership. He's talked about this over the last few months. He's had guests on his podcast, The Future, to help him about strategies and techniques to help him improve. So I know he knows he's studying LinkedIn. So the reason he never denies coming to my page, out of all the stuff he could have said, he doesn't deny any of the stuff here. It's because he knows it can be proven, but he doesn't know if I know how to prove it. Now, I can't tell you which content he looked at, but like I said, you come back to back multiple times in the same day and then do the same thing the next day. What the fuck you doing? Right? You look out your crib, somebody ain't never been at, you look out the window. Hold on. Let me get big on the screen for this for you. You look out your window. Somebody you know ain't never been to your crib before. Come to your crib. Don't walk up to the door, but come to your crib, stand in front of the gate, the yard, look around, go around back, doing all this shit multiple times a day, and tomorrow all of a sudden what you gonna think? They ain't never been to your crib before. Then all of a sudden, you know, your bike out in the out in the street, right? All right, so let's get this. We got a couple more slides. I mean, it's funny to me because, like I said, I use this sort of stuff because it helps me study humanity, because I'm studying the sickness. This is an illness. So then, like, a bunch of time went by, right? Like, I came right back. Like, he made that comment. I happened to be sitting at the computer. No, actually, I came back at the right time, and like he might have just made the comment, so I was able to respond like within 10 minutes. It was like, I don't know, a couple hours went by. Now he's Chris Doe. He might have some busy shit going on. I don't know. But then he comes back with this. So now, you know the position I got. You know what he's probing for. Here's what he says. I checked out your profile because I was mentioned in another comment. Now that right there says a lot if you unpack it. Which one is it, Chris? You were checking out the profile because you were mentioned in another comment, meaning another comment aside from the ones you were actually looking at when you thought about this, when you answered it, because you were thinking about what you took? Or is it you checked out the profile because you were mentioned in another comment, meaning that you did recognize that I tagged you in a couple before this one that you didn't, that you didn't come to the page for, but now that I'm thinking about it, you could have had someone look at the page for you. I mean, since you're so tactful. And to me, I wouldn't have noticed it, but you would have known the potential because they would have been trying to explain it to you. So by the time you got tagged in this one, anyway, I'm reaching on that one. But look, what we do know is that, are we talking about you were focused on the stuff that you saw as valuable that you were swiping? So you say another comment, or are you acknowledging that you did see that I sent you a connection request and the couple other ones that I tagged you in, and you knew about it, but you just ignored it? So by the time you saw this one, you saw that it was another one, or were you thinking about the one, the comments that you were interested in, and you were calling this another one, right? But then he follows up with, hey, I believe you referenced it here, which means he's validating the way I said this got started. I tagged you in a couple things, you didn't show up. He's also indirectly validating that you didn't show up. I mean, you didn't show up on the other ones, but then you showed up on this one. which then by default validates and verifies and confirms that you came to the page, you looked over all the stuff, you came back, because now you're agreeing to everything I said is true. So you're confirming that you came back multiple times day one, returned the next day. Mr. Busy Ass Chris Dell had enough time to check my page multiple times the same day, sleep on it, come back the next day, check my page multiple times the following day, but didn't like, comment, say fuck you, anything on it. What the fuck were you doing on my profile for 2 whole days without liking, comment, or engaging? Mr. multi-million dollar a year, busy as fuck, high says profile Chris Doe. What were you doing on my profile for 2 days straight? Like, I ain't got proof shit. This is the proof. So I checked out your profile. See? So he's admitting, I checked out your profile. He didn't say, hey, I came and looked at the post you tagged me in. Nah, bro, I checked out your profile because I was mentioned in another comment. Like, people that can read, I ain't got you just saw everything is right here. This is why I was like, it's open and shut. I'm not mad. I don't want nothing from you. I'm just telling you why I can't trust you no more. I checked out your profile because I was mentioned in another comment. I believe you referenced it here. Now, here's the next valuable point. I wasn't familiar with you and what that person were referring to. I'll repeat. I wasn't familiar with you and what the person with you. I wasn't familiar with what you and what that person was referring to, because I took the post and tagged them in it with the content I put on attached to it to make the complete story of the post. Some of them, like, I didn't tag them. It wasn't like a stalking. Like, I was only like I said, like maybe 4 posts over 6 weeks, maybe even a couple months, like period. It might have been 2-3 months. So, but I know it wasn't no more than like 4 posts. And now that I think about it, that's part of what made me, that last couple ones was like, because he would say something that was so similar to, so he might have, anyway, look. So I wasn't familiar with you and what that person was referring to. So now he's trying to close it out and slide out by saying, it doesn't seem like you actually want to say, but I respect that. I wish I could have cleared this up. So he's trying to appear to be the bigger person, like the, hey, look, I should have said, right? He wants to, what it looks like is, it looks very politically correct. Like, Chris is such a nice guy, but nice is foolish, delicate, and fussy. NYCE pre-1300, right? It's not kind, courteous, and thoughtful. So no, there's no more Mr. Nice Guy over here, but I'm not mad, because mad is not what we think it is either. So it doesn't seem like you actually want to say, but I respect that. I wish I could have cleared this up. So now it's like, okay, cool. I make this statement. I checked out your profile. He's not going to understand what that means. He doesn't think, but he checked out my profile. The readers won't know what that means because they're reading it with emotion. They're not going to see that he's admitting that he checked out my profile, which is how much of it? 25% of 10 years of content? 40%? Did you have your whole team look it up? What did you do? Did you scan it? I don't know, right? So I checked out your profile because I was mentioned in a comment. I believe you referenced it here. I wasn't familiar with you and what that person was referring to. It doesn't seem like you actually want to say, but I respect that. I wish I could have cleared this up. So he's making it seem like, hey, I saw something. He's making it sound like I didn't really know what it was. Hey, do you want to tell me more about it now to pretend like he don't already know? He put in a week's research on what he got from my page. But I respect that. If you don't want to talk about it now, and I wish I could clear this up. Sounds so innocent until you realize what's actually being said from the perspective of who's involved, like me. And this is what you get. So I come back minutes later because I don't have to fudge or pretend or think. It's all here now. It makes sense. Here's the connections. So I said, may the record reflect one Chris Doe some 30 to 59 days prior. Chris indeed appeared on Pasha Paroh's profile in response in timely fashion to being tagged in said post. May the record reflect one Chris Doe claims at that moment he was unfamiliar with Pasha Paroh. Claims at that moment he was unfamiliar with Pasha Paroh and my content. Translation: upon arrival on my page, Chris Doe discovered content that he says he was unfamiliar with, as in raw material to him, which would be valuable new product for his audience. This establishes motives. This establishes motive. Not engaging with the content, not to leave fingerprints, so to speak, and not accepting my connection request. It appears once Chris realized the added value to his brand, he returned to the scene multiple times over a 2-day period to explore the history of content on my profile collectively, which goes back for years, and access through discovery my entire knowledge channel on YouTube, which is YNet7, which is what some of y'all are watching this on right now. Here's the link for those who might want to be smart enough to check it out instead of emotionally jump in and talk shit about shit they don't know. Where there is 6 years of content, at least, to add to the LinkedIn discovery, because you can make 5-10 posts a day, but you're only doing a couple videos a week or a month or whatever, right? So now there's 6 years of content on the YouTube channel to add to the LinkedIn discovery that Chris saw as a gold mine of the unfamiliar, which explains how pieces of my psychology made its way onto Chris's content over the last 1 to 2 months. As I first quoted, my YouTube and LinkedIn are here for anyone to review proof of ownership. Like, you go look through my shit and tell me all the stuff you discover he's taken and put into his content over the last 1 to 2 months. And then here's the receipt, because LinkedIn shows you the last time he came in was what it doesn't tell you exactly. And that's why I said, to me, it feels like almost 2 months ago. And that's a feeling. So I say it's a feeling. When I check the actual evidence, it says 1 month. The thing is, that doesn't change, like we know, until you go over 2 months. So that means that there's 30 to 59 days that this is going to show for just being 1 month before it jumps to the 2 month window. And what that validates is, not to say the super accuracy, but it says that my original statement of 1 to 2 months ago was accurate, because this translation equals 30 to 59 days prior. Like, I don't have a reason to lie or make shit up. So for all the idiots jumping on my profile, show the proof, bitch, you looking at the proof. We're not talking about some rims where you hop out and say, hey, these are the rims that were on my truck, see? No, you dumb bitch. We talking about intellectual property. but I made it with the intent to be distributed and shared. So it's not the issue that he took it. What bothers me is how he did it. Like I said, he took it, he gave credit to someone else to distract y'all from it coming from me. But as you can see, he says he quotes his sources so much, which I would have thought the same thing too, which is why I'm not offended by the people in the comments saying Chris quotes his sources, cites his sources. Yeah, because I thought the same thing too until I realized he didn't cite me, he cited somebody else. So my question becomes, of all the other stuff I thought I learned from you, who's the real source? Because I would rather go support their channel or support their page. And everything I had thought about you, but I'm open to always saying I don't know what I don't know, which is why I'm not emotionally moved by this. And like I said, ultimately, I make this content for it to be shared. So no, I'm not bothered by him sharing it at all. I don't want nothing from him for sharing it, because that's what I put it out there for, so that we can reach critical mass, so that we can change the world. I'm just saying, don't hop on there and share my information and then say, oh, and I got it from over here, don't look this way. Like you do the people you got working for you in your sweatshop of logo production. That's the part, because now I can't trust anything else you say. I mean, I can appreciate you said it, like I got it, but I can't trust that. I can't look at you like it's you. That's my disappointment in the whole ordeal. Nothing else. Right? So in response to that, of all things, this is what he puts. Hashtag smoking gun. And I put Christo in the deposition. Because he knows that's the smoking gun. He knows I know, in other words. And I put in the deposition, and this was the end of our whole conversation. And see, me and him know that we each know. Here's the irony. While me and him were conversing, nobody interrupted. I don't mean interrupted like, I just mean nobody commented outside of this going on. As soon as we reached this closing point, there was a comment. And I thought about this right away, because what it did was, when you get so many comments, it collapses the responses so you don't see it, which is why I'm not blaming the people of like I said, I study everything. I study everything, and this was new. See, this was new for me. Like, you guys been watching me for a while, you know I don't have a problem being truthful. In the grand scheme of things, I'm a relatively small fish in the pond. Doesn't mean that I don't have big talent. I just haven't had, like we were talking about earlier, I haven't had the access to the big clients to do the same thing that I'm doing for the little clients, to get the bigger exposure, to get the bigger clients, like Pepsi paying $1.2 million for their logo. That's the only separation. I don't look at them as being any better than me. I don't look at the people with the big studio being any better than me. I look at, if you got your little home studio, you charging $100 an hour, you could produce the same quality at home if you had the industry connect that was paying you $2,000 to $8,000 a day, like they pay studio rates. If you got $2,000 a day, you would sit there and make sure all the little intricacies were done just like they do, and you had the ability to perfect it on your home computer almost to the same level as they do in the big studio, even if it takes you a little while longer. But if you were getting $2,000 to $8,000 a day, you would deliver a super high quality product from home too. So no, it's not really about, do you have a multi-million dollars worth of equipment? It's about, is your client giving you $8,000 a day to take the time to make it to this standard of music? Is your client a business or a brand that's doing $200,000, $500,000, gonna give you 40 or 50,000 to do what you're charging the people in the neighborhood getting started at 5,000 for? Not so much even more about the money, but about, or the currency, but about the recognition. So that if your client is this big client in the field and they get asked who did the logo and they say you, oh, that's recognition for you. Meanwhile, the clients we might be working with on a lower level, they're struggling, not struggling, but they're growing their business from the ground up. So they don't have the same recognition and prestige of who doing your logo. So we got to do, 10 clients for every one that you do just to get the same paper. I'm not mad about it. What I'm saying is, that's the difference. They're not better than we are. They just have a different level of clientele. And then like when I did the Seagate logo, they're losing $10 million a year because they got the wrong logo. But let's say they paid a Chris Doe. I'm not saying he did the logo, but let's say they're paying someone to do this who maybe had a name for themselves or had a minimalistic approach or was friends with somebody who knew somebody, and now they got a logo that's destroying their revenue. They're losing $10 million a year collectively for over a decade. It's like $100 million difference in what they could have had in working capital and what they do because they got the wrong logo. But whoever did it for them must have been popular enough because they paid them over $1 million to do it. So that's what it's about. And that's how it got all started. And then as soon as we were done, it was like it's like you go to the kennel and you open up the gates to the kennel and all the dogs run out at the same time. That's what it was like. That's why I used the picture of the zombies, because that's what it felt like. It was like, oh shit, these motherfuckers coming out the woodwork. Where they been from? They ain't saying nothing all this time. And all of a sudden, you can't say this to, he doesn't have to, shut the fuck up. Nobody asked you. Right? You know what I mean? That's literally how I'm handling this shit. Like, yo, what are you talking about? Why are you even here having an opinion, telling me I shouldn't have an opinion, but you're giving me your opinion on why I shouldn't have an opinion? It's something that ain't got nothing to do with you. It's my personal life. That's how dumb it sounds. So what we gotta do, y'all, is I want you to know these people aren't better than you. They may be a better attitude, which means positioned. Like they may be in a network of people who, for what your network is capped out, maybe the people is gonna say all they got is this. Maybe their network is paying 10, 20 times, 100 times the same thing because that's nothing to them. So you either grow your network to get those type of clientele, or you dig in to the network you have, the level that you on, and you keep banging out shit. But I want you to take away from this, if nothing else, they not better than you, fam. I proved that in the whole video where I said, Crystal, I'm the future of branding. That's why he taking notes from me. But he trying to be ahead like the matter of fact, what's the LinkedIn thing here? And then we can get up out of here. We can ready to get up out of here. Hold on. Cause I watched the Brene Brown video of her speech like I don't know, a long time ago. And the funny part on that thing, because I made the song Stats and I gave the quote, I gave the credit like when I was doing the first posting on the release and stuff like that. I gave the credit to her about being inspired by her speech to make this song, right? Because she used the quote in that speech. She used a quote from Teddy Roosevelt on the Man in the Arena about the critics. And, you know, that's why I got this song like Man in the Arena, brought it on ourselves. But you can't make no rain fall if you're not standing in the clouds. You know what I mean? So you're not living in the clouds. So, you know, I give credit where credit's due, right? But let me go to bum. Like here, like, you know, so since then, let's see here. Where's the this video's here. So Pasha Paroh, the future of logos. How Christo's living in the past. Like I made this video before any of that happened. But I still, you can't see it because he blocked me. But I tagged him in this post. Like I don't, even when I make a video about you, I'm not doing it behind your back. Like, here, check this out. This is what I'm saying. Like that's me, bro. Like, so anyway. So here's the post. Then we get to hear all this. So I had these, they're going. At least from my side, they're probably still there. But so then I post here, like I'm like saying, like, yo, this is what it's about. Because I saw the Brene Brown video. It was 10 plus years ago when she did it. I saw the video. I gave credit to the inspiration when I made the song and launched the song Stats. The funny thing though that she said in this video, right, is either this video or something out that, you know, came up at the time that she also did. I'm pretty sure it was this video. Might have been another video from her at the time. I think she had like 2 or 3 out at that time. She probably got more out now because her popularity's grown. But she had this one part in the video where she was like, she was nervous. Anyway, I think it was this. I'm pretty sure because this one where she was talking about being down below, and she was like, "Okay, you're great. Going next. Okay, what are you going to talk about?" Right? And then she's talking about being nervous, and she was like talking to somebody. And she was like, "Hey, okay, so you're great. Going next, or you going?" She's not you're going to next, but she was saying like, "What are you going to talk about when you go on?" It's kind of like how she phrased it, and she was like, "Oh, good, because I'm going first." You know what I mean? So it was like, yeah. Tell me what you're gonna say, and now that you've done that, let me let you know I'm going first, so that like you told me what you're gonna talk about, so I can pick and choose what I want to take about it to put in my presentation now because I'm going up first. So I've always hung on to that, which is why, you know, I share this the way I do with the people, with the population. Oh shit, you're not looking at what I'm looking at. Okay, I thought I was sharing the screen. Maybe I'm not. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Let's do it like this. Hmm. Let's try this again. There you go. All right. Bam. Do it like that for you. Okay. Good thing I checked. So so yeah. So she had this thing where she was talking about this moment where she was in there like, I'm going I'm going first. So I always hang on to that. You know what I mean? And that's where I want this information to be out, which is why I don't have what do they got? What are these pay sites where they be like, meet me over here? It's like YouTube, but it's not like they try to get you, sign up for a membership and there's extra stuff. They want $1 a month, $10 a month for you to get content. Like my shit's free, bro. And I might be struggling from that. I might be suffering for not doing it. Who knows? I don't know. What I know is that the max value is to get this out there free. What would help is if you did support the channel by sharing or subscribing or comments or send this to people that would enjoy certain elements of it and help it grow that way. But I try to prevent paid Patreon. That's what it is. Like leave me on Patreon and all this stuff. You know what I mean? Like I probably don't have the following to do that because they don't even show up I don't have, not to say they don't show up, but we have a core of people that show up, and I'm not looking to charge those people, to experience the opportunity to share information that we need to build America. Like we need more people to know this. So yeah, I'm not really, I appreciate the fact that it's getting out there. It was flattering that he took it and put it out there. It was just a thing. But here's what it is. Giving credit to inspiration is the most powerful thing you can do. It builds trust through transparency, right? The show of authenticity, meaning checking the boxes in our creative process, demonstrates humility and honesty, creates credibility with our audience, right? So it creates meaningful connections, link our work to larger conversations, connect our audience to valuable resources like the people you really got it from, build bridges between different ideas and communities. This one is really so important. I don't think it comes to mind right away because a lot of prejudices are still in place because people take the ideas instead of saying that we got it from over here to show that, wow, we all want the same thing, and or wow, there's more to those people than I thought. Let's learn more. Let's sit down and talk as communities, as neighborhoods, as different mentalities. So this one's huge, but builds bridges between different ideas and communities, fuels growth and learning, encourage others to explore original sources, demonstrates that great ideas build on other great ideas, show that vulnerability. And this is another one, because if you can't fully explain the idea because you're regurgitating what you got from somebody else, then the idea can't be as valuable as a raw material to the production of something greater with it as a component, because you don't know what you're talking about. Show that vulnerability and admitting influence is strength. So the weak people don't want you to know where they got their information from because they're afraid that they're going to lose power and control in some way, shape, or form. So amplify the impact, help spread valuable messages further, create ripple effects and positive influence, contribute to a culture of generosity and sharing. So the benefit is that the information is getting out there, but you have to understand that the person that took your information and don't give you credit for it, this is everything they're affecting, which is a pretty good size list, because then the community doesn't know that you're the source, and they may be giving information to avoid you, right? The order to avoid you. Meanwhile, they're missing out on where the innovation is coming from. So they can't fully benefit the community because of politics and corruption. So we need to get rid of the politics and corruption, right? So because, stuff like this happens where magically you can't see stuff, comments going, people disappear, they deleting your stuff now. Who knows what these people out here trying to do to stay fake. I got the video. It's here. You can watch it. It's what we just went over in a video form. It's just the words scrolling up the screen of the post with some music playing, so you can check it out, because gotta save the truth now, so we know the truth. This was fun. From the experience, I put this out in 2024 to 2025. Only United States citizens show up to attack you and get offended. How you defend yourself. So maybe a reason why you might want to become an American business owner instead of a U.S. citizen. This was a cool post I shared with the truth. Europeans not only colonized most of the world, they colonized information about the world. And that's really cool, because the word colonize comes from colon, right? Or colonize doesn't come from colon, but colon is the first thing in there. And I was able to point out how they did it was using the colon. So because many people don't know what America is compared to the United States, but putting here is so true in both senses of the word. See, colon was part of the intestines pre-1398. So how they got much of the world involved in their shit was through other use, separate word, not just meaning, right? Because the other use of the word colon in the photo, the definition, there's colon 1 and colon 2, like not just where it has multiple meanings, but actually where this is being used as a totally separate word. So colon 2 is like in the punctuation, which was to separate. A separate meaning of colon was punctuation mark. It was originally used to separate independent clauses. So of course, when they wrote their story, their history, their version of it, the separate clauses stated that they found what was already there. Rome, Egypt, Greece wasn't built by who got credit for it. Today, it's just kind of like we were talking about with the Christos situation. The same way they discovered a continent with people living on it, the same way most of their useful knowledge they inherited from the African people who were the monarchs of Europe, and the castles were built for them all this stuff people don't know that they don't know. So, bro, like, you can block me, man, people have been blocking me my whole life, man. My own, like, you ain't been blocked till you go to the mental health observation. When you go to mental health observation, then tell me how you feel about being blocked in society, man. Like, and then they tell you ain't nothing wrong with you, okay? Like, until you get to that point, like, man, stop crying. So these people, they came on here, they did their little thing. They tried to railroad me. I stood on business. I stood on truth, and all their feelings are hurt. And then now all of a sudden, they all block me. Like, it's gonna hurt my feelings. Nobody asked y'all to come on the page anyway. It was fine. It was over with when me and Chris had our efficient conversation. Like, see how efficient that was? He said something. I responded. He responded. I responded. It was over. It was over. Then the crew comes with all their little BS, their little cheerleaders and stuff, and it was fun. Like that, if you can still see it, that's great, because I hope it's still there for the community to learn from. Because when you read those comments, and those people are acting all emotional, and they make those emotional rage comments. Um, there's gonna be people in the world that can relate to that. They're gonna feel the same way. So when they read it and then they see the truth responded to them that they may not have considered before, there's gonna be a fork in the road for those people. And they're gonna be able to say, "Oh shit, I never looked at it like that before. I just learned something new." Or they're gonna have their emotional projection issues. The brain's gonna justify what it wants to believe instead of what truth is being presented to them, and they're gonna find a reason to continue to paint the picture they want in their head, regardless of what they see in the real world. So we'll reach a critical mass one conversation at a time, and it was a pretty fun day. I appreciate it. It's all exercise to me. This was great. Um, so keep sharing the information. Whether you give me credit for it or not, it's free. It's free use information, and all the receipts are there. So what happens is when it goes down in history, in antiquity rather, and someone starts to really dig down the rabbit hole, that's when you find out, where the reference tracks came from, because of one person's research discovers that this person wasn't the first one to say it, and then they realized there was a connection. So I'm not concerned with getting credit like on that level. I'm more concerned that the information gets out there. So just keep sharing the information. But if you do share it, don't make up other sources. If you're gonna give a source, give credit to Pasha. If you're just out there talking about what you saw on the internet and you don't mention me, I can respect that, because you're just talking about what you learned from the net. It could be anybody. You're not. He could have said my name, but it's not maliciously being averted from. He's telling people it was me. But this was tactfully done. It was well crafted. There were multiple people involved, helping him. And when he did come to the page and comment, this is an opinion, but he probably had other people helping him make those statements. He's very crafty, but I think in this case, he once I responded, I think he wanted to make sure his bases was covered. So, because it was a very interesting exercise, and I appreciate the exercise. And like I said, the sad part is what he don't know is I give the information away for free. He didn't have to feel like he took it and hide it. So that I can't trust him for that purpose, because I don't know who else he's done that to with the other stuff that he's out here sharing in podcasts and workshops. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna keep going and build my podcast and build my workshops. The Vibe workshops coming along. I get to work on it in between working on client work and smacking zombies from the Christo Dojo. So in between all of that, I'll have my first workshop. And with the holidays, I really wasn't trying to maybe present it right now. Maybe in the next couple of weeks, I'll open up the offering, or first the 25 Q1, give everybody a chance for some just time to focus, because I don't celebrate holidays and birthdays and all that BS. That's all bullshit to me. But I appreciate those who feel like they need to wait to a certain day in the year to do something that they could be doing any given day. So, to those people who were trained to only give thanks with the family once a year, and or who believe in the story of Christmas, you know what I mean, and Santa Claus and all that shit. Let them have their moment. I need their undivided attention, so uh, um, I'll decide when exactly I drop it. Maybe it'll be in the gap of the holiday of the those particular dates on the timeline, or maybe it'll be after. But that's all. I'm not mad. I'm actually excited because if Chris Doe of all people come to Pasha Paroh page and start seeing the value of his information and go puts it in the podcast that he delivers to millions of people through these different podcast networks, I knew my shit was good. Did you? Know it was that good? Pasha Paroh. Why that 7? Thank you for tuning. We got to fuck shit up 2020.